It tickles my fancy.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Goosies.
I don't have hair.
Oof.
You got Marcos.
That's not. No, that's not.
Wait.
Yeah.
That's true. You do got me. Get over here, Marcus. Let me look at you.
They don't want it.
Tobin and Leroy, ready to deploy. Had to hit it with a little journalism, but that was a decoy. Better have about me, boy. Okay. Leroy and Tobin, hold to the show, man. Still to the stars with the show, and till then is half moon open. Sometimes go taste like a snowman. No proof, I'm a lie about a motor. No proof. Like I always wanted him, I never hated him, I never traded him, and if I did, I never ever traded him. You know what is a star? Like another city, the driver's side fly. Gucci got large, so many more. 10 in the more, never a bar. 8, 10 in the more, 2 to the P. Nothing to you, but it's something to me. Handsome as ever, and cute as can be. You can watch us on YouTube with view for free. Ay. This one time for the Twitch. This one time for the text. This one time for the phone line. Whole time wonder what they gonna do next.
You know, I just wish you guys would stop the quibbling.
Ah, baby. Welcome on in, everybody. It is Tobin and Leroy here with you on a fine Thursday, the last day of November in 2023. Good morning, Leroy. How are you, buddy?
What's happening? What's happening?
Listen, we gotta.
Just went to the Orlando. Just rode the Incredible Hulk here in Weston.
That's
we were talking before the show about when you go to the doctor, you wait in the waiting room, then they send you to a forward waiting room.
Yeah.
Then they put you into a room.
Yep.
And I said, yeah, it's like a ride at Universal where every time you turn, you think you're almost there because it's behind a wall. And then you look and there's more 17 serpentines.
Yeah, I was trying to determine like what was the worst waiting room that we were in because, you guys, I told you I was, what I'm going through with my wife. She's getting looked at for some stuff, and hopefully tomorrow everything will be situated. But we were at a waiting room, and you're like, really nice waiting room. There's an aquarium. It was very pretty. Then they took us and they just stuck us in the hallway. But then the hallway, you're stuck with everybody who's miserable because they're getting looked at and they're, shuffling back and forth. And then after that, it's like, all right, cool. Here's your room, but you're going to have to wait another half hour for the doctor to get in there, poke their head in, then they're going to leave, then come back. And I think the original was like, oh, yeah, do I have the right chart? Nope. So I had to do a quick switcheroo on that one as well. But I think the worst one is the in-between room. Like when you're in the waiting room.
No man's land.
It's less comfortable than the OG waiting room. No fish.
No TV. Sometimes they have a TV in there.
No magazine. And then like at least in the doctor's room, you have some privacy. So that's nice. But man, it's crazy. It is their system in the medical field is quite messed up. I don't understand it. Why can't they just, hey, wouldn't it be easier just to stick to appointments? I don't know. It's crazy. It's just kind of like an estimation. And like, I didn't realize we were doing this like we were putting in a new modem or a new cable box.
The problem is they overbook. And then if there's a situation that requires a little more time, right? Which is everyone, because have you ever not gone to a doctor's office and not have to answer 1,700 questionnaires, 100-question questionnaires?
Only if it's like a follow-up, yeah. But even in the follow-up, you're still waiting a long time.
I had to answer the same questions like my first visit at the clinic, right? For bandage change. I'm like, buddy.
Was this the one that your friend performed at the golf clubhouse?
No. He didn't. No. Different ones.
Pretty wild, man. Anyway, let's get to some headlines brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
Dan Day filling in for Frog Boy today. Hello, Dan Day. How are you?
Hey, so is he going to make Frog Boy's picks?
Ooh. Oh, that's right. I forgot. We got to do picks today. I don't know. We're going to have to determine if he wants to leave it. It's week 1. So if he wants to, put it in the hands of Dan Day, I'm all for Dan Day making his picks for him.
Yeah, let me proxy in for him. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what goes on, man. I mean, like, listen, it is, but he's very obsessed with gambling. I think he'd be upset if he missed it, but we'll see. We'll see what he wants to do. Heat back on the hardwood tonight against the Indiana Pacers. Tip off
Indiana
is set.
Pacers has been good.
They've been pretty decent. They have they can score. They got Tyrese Halliburton's a handful.
They can't stop a traffic cone.
Should be a fun one tonight. And this is actually a regular season game because the in-season tournament for the Heat is over.
So you got that court for 2 games?
That's it. I guess it's back next year.
No, that's why players can make $60 million a year.
That's right.
You just roll in a court for 2 games.
Speaking of the injuries, Haywood Highsmith, Jimmy Buckets are questionable. Jimmy, of course, dealing with that ankle sprain. Haywood Highsmith with his lower back injury. And
then he break his booty bone or something.
Yeah, he fell on that hard. There was no cushion. Bam and Duncan are probable. Imagine they played in the last game. Tyler Hero remains out. 6:15 is preheat. John Crotty going to join us next hour. We'll talk a little.
Hey now,
Crotty. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Panthers, they're back on the ice tonight, skating with the Montreal Canadiens as the North of the Border tour continues for the Cats. And
let's see, and then the North of the Border tour is going to come down here.
Yeah. Oh,
all the Canadian teams come to Florida and during Christmas break.
Yep. Thursday night football tonight. Dallas Cowboys hosting the Seattle Seahawks. They are a 9.5-point favorite.
Ooh. You know, there's certain teams that you think they're good, but you're like, I ain't ready to say they're that good.
You're doing that with the Cowboys?
Yeah, like even though they've been destroying and covering like crazy. I'm not going to even deny that. But I'm just still not.
Been a lot of people making the parallels between them and the Dolphins. Like they're the NFC version of the Dolphins that don't know, haven't really proved it against anybody. They'll get their chance.
Except they won't win their division.
No, they're not going to win their division. But they do have the Eagles coming up next week. And then, of course, there's a big Christmas Eve matchup with the Dolphins. So we will see. That'll be the battle of who gets to have their signature win.
I'm less concerned about getting a signature win. And more importantly, I'm most concerned with getting wins.
Yep.
I don't care who they're against. Right now, the Dolphins have 8 wins. You can say, "Oh, we didn't beat him." Okay, who else has that? Because a lot of teams play the same damn schedule, right? So who else? There's a bunch of teams you can say that about. I mean, what about Buffalo?
I don't even count Buffalo. Buffalo's 500. They're bums. We ain't talking about mid teams.
Wait, if that's the case, you know who hasn't beaten anybody really this year? Kansas City.
Kansas City. I mean, they beat the
Dolphins. Okay.
The Dolphins are a lot of people's best win.
They only 3 teams, dude.
Good team.
It is a good team. They beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville's a good win. It was early in the season. They beat Denver. I don't know what you want to qualify that as.
No.
Okay. Well, Denver's good now.
Yeah.
They weren't good after the Dolphins beat them.
As Cleveland.
Now they're good. They lost to the Eagles. So, but you can't, like, here's the thing. Like, I understand the narrative with the Dolphins. Like, I'm not going to do it on the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 2-time champs. Like,
I understand. See, the only difference between me and you is that you reward a team in future years for what they've done in the past. I do not. This year is different than last year. And although they have won 2 Super Bowls. I'm not. So to me, that means I put them in the hunt all the time. Right. But each year is different in how you get there and what you look like getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This is the shakiest of all those teams. Will we agree? Haven't really scored a lot of points offensively.
From a weapon standpoint, yeah.
They're better defensively, and their weapons drop the ball, which is like, yeah. So of all the teams that you could feel least confident about as far as Kansas City, this is the team. And it has nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes. It has nothing to do with their defense, who's playing the best that they've played, which is why their record is what it is. Because if it was just up to Patrick Mahomes, they wouldn't have this record.
Meanwhile, you have the Miami Hurricanes. Some good news for them as they flipped a 5-star recruit, Justin Scott from Chicago, He was going to go to the Buckeyes, but thanks to Leroy's Michigan Wolverines, he said, "I'm not going to that bum ass school." So he decided to come to the Canes. So, hey, Cristobal, listen, hey, nobody said that guy can't recruit. He's a good recruiter.
Nobody ever questioned that.
He's a good recruiter. And
somebody on the chat last night said Oregon recruits itself.
And then finally, Ruben Bain, shout out to him. He was named ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year. He had an awesome year.
He was awesome. You couldn't tell he was a rookie.
Yeah, he was awesome. So shout out there. We will take a quick break. Miami Dolphins still facing some doubters. We'll hear a little bit from that on the way back as Tyreek Hill had some things to say, upsets some of the national pundits. Back after this. All right, welcome back. It's Tobin and Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM. Heat back on the hardwood tonight, taking on the Pacers. Last night, the Orlando Magic. They won their 8th straight. Did you see yesterday what these snot-nosed kids tried to do, Leroy?
No.
Jalen Suggs, obviously very talented, threw up a lob to Cole Anthony. And, this Magic team's feeling themselves a little bit. Everybody coming together with Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. They got a lot of young talent. They've won 8 straight. They're feeling themselves. And so last night, Suggs throws up the old alley-oop, and he decided to channel his inner D. Wade LeBron and try to make the sequel yesterday to the lob. And no, I don't think they nailed it. I don't think they nailed it.
Wait, is that the ball on his shoulder?
Yeah, he dunked it through. Like the guy, whatever photographer, he wasn't ready for it. So he does the airplane afterwards. But I don't think it didn't come off quite the same. And I got to just tell these Magic, calm down a little bit. You guys are feeling yourselves a little too much with trying to.
When you've been losing as much as them, let them have their fun.
No, look, they can have their fun, but they gotta slow the roll on the bootleg celebrations.
Can I just say this? This is very unbecoming because you did this same crap with the Sacramento Kings last year.
What do you mean?
Oh, I'm so sick of hearing about Zach.
No, well, because I don't like Sabonis. It's enough of him. Because don't look at me like that, Dan. Everybody kisses Sabonis's ass, and like all I saw when that guy was on the Pacers for 5 years was Bam Adebayo stuff him into a locker. One of Bam's greatest dunks, by the way. And everybody, the Sabonis, he does it all out of the post. He's a nice player. That's cool. Can't guard a parking cone, but like it's a little silly, like how we get crazy about this stuff. And now everybody's doing with the Magic. Oh, they did LeBron D-Wade. No, they didn't.
You know why? Because they haven't been there. And that is exciting when you've never been there. They expect the Heat to be there. They expect Golden State to be there. They expect the Celtics and the Bucks, right? It's not surprising if they go on an 8-game winning streak. But if Orlando does it, or last year when Sacramento was number 1 in the conference, right? Yeah. So, calm down.
These kids need to get off my lawn.
Fun.
Stop trying to.
Yes,
get on. Stop trying to recreate. One of the most iconic shots of all time. You're trying to make art. This isn't Art Basel. Magic.
But so you see what I'm saying? You kind of you're getting a trend here. It is the old get off my lawn thing. Anytime a new team has success,
you can have your success. You can have your thing. I'm all for the Sacramento Kings having light the beam. I don't know what the Magic's thing is. Is it light the mouse? I don't know what they're doing up there for Disney World. Like, do they just turn Epcot into that sphere into a basketball? I don't know what they do. I don't know what their celebration. I don't know what their thing is. But what I know their thing is doing the Wade LeBron alley-oop. That's not your thing. Kick rocks.
Are you done now? You got it off your chest.
I just was like, oh, here we go, kids. Here they go. I mean, they're gonna. What's next? You guys gonna do a Harlem Shake video?
Hey, so Dan, you see I know the keywords.
But isn't imitation the highest form of complimenting someone?
If you pull it off right, but the picture didn't pull it off right. Like
what is that on the picture or the parties involved?
It's on both. Like, if you need to give a heads up, like, hey, art could happen tonight. But you know what that photographer is thinking? Like, it's a Magic Wizards game. Like, I don't care how. Like, first of all, you're still the Magic and Wizards. Like,
right?
I don't know what we're going to be ready for here, and especially from Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony. It's just, I don't know. Something just tells me that they're never going to get their names dropped in a Jay-Z and Kanye song.
It's a generic version. They're the very, very generic version of the real thing.
It's Publix brand. Is what it is.
So let me ask you this: you think Orlando makes playoffs this year?
They might. They're and listen, they can score. Oh, they're good.
Okay, then.
I mean, it's about time. You've had 9 number 1 picks. Let's it's kind of like the Minnesota Timberwolves. All right, good. I'm glad you guys finally hit. I mean, took enough ping pong balls. Let's go. They are good. I mean, like they're going to get a lesson in a couple weeks. I mean, they'll get their comeuppance. But for now, we focus on the task at hand, which is the Pacers. But this is all I saw last night. It's going to go all over the place, and I just want to be like, and D-Wade's going to be polite. He's going to be like, "Oh, it's so nice of you kids to do that." And LeBron, same thing. But it's like they don't really mean it. They're probably like lame. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like if it was if like Jaquez and Bam want to do it because it's the Heat thing, that's one thing. That's one thing. But could you imagine if they had the Jaquez hair, flowing like D-Wade? Oh, that would look good.
What are you doing?
What?
Leave game ops to game ops.
I'm just saying, like that hair is gorgeous. And so like if he hits one of those, signature Jaquez bounce, are you allowed to have a signature after 18 games? One of those signature Jaquez bounce passes to Bam, and Bam just throws it down.
Hold on. We have a guy that does things like that, and you blasted him.
Who?
Kevin Love.
Well, no, Kevin Love's thing is I heave the ball down the court because I don't want to run.
Oh, so it's either he's been doing it his whole career.
Oh, I know. Trust me, they've let me know.
Oh my goodness.
They've let me know.
You are on one today.
I'm not on one. I'm not on one.
You sure you're not sitting on a thumbtack? Because you're little.
I'm 3 coffees in today. That's for sure.
There it is.
I am 3 coffees in today, but I just was like, I can already see they're going to try and make this thing. Because I get it. The Magic are you're right. They're this year's kings. They're everybody's darlings. Oh, look, they're doing the cute thing. They're Wade and LeBron. It's like, all right.
In all sports, it's like, who the Orlando Magic the last couple years in football? The Detroit Lions.
Oh, they've been bad. Yeah, you're right.
So everybody likes, it's a cool story that finally you might go on some run here.
Find your own thing. Find your own thing.
The fact that we're talking about Orlando and an 8-game winning streak is the story, not that they recreated the D-Wade LeBron thing.
I mean, do you want to talk about the Pistons losing 15 straight? I mean, when are they going to get their head together?
Oh my goodness.
15.
Joe Dumars and Bill Laimbeer ain't walking through that door.
It's nice seeing some of the young teams up, but man, you see some of these bad teams that are like 2 wins after 17 games. You're like, Jesus. Like,
what's another team? Houston's turned it around a little bit. Right?
No, Houston's been nice. It's I think it's Wizards, Pistons, Spurs, Grizzlies.
Right.
Awful.
I can't wait. Can I just say this? Y'all can say how great Wemby is, but the last 2 number ones you got in the Admiral and Tim Duncan, this wasn't happening.
It's
right?
It's 12.
They were game changers. He's not a game changer.
It's the Spurs are 3-14. Grizzlies got one, I think, last night. They're 4-13. Congratulations to them. The Pistons are 2-16. Jesus. And by the way, the Heat almost blew it on opening night to them. Wizards 3-15. I mean, yeesh. That Wizards team. The thing with the Wizards is like they don't even seem like they're trying. Right. Jordan Poole doesn't seem like he's trying. You got Kuzma trying to call people out. It's like you're Kuzma.
Right, you big sweater guy.
Yeah, but outside of Kuzma and Jordan Poole, those guys are no names. Like I don't know how to pronounce their names. I'm like,
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. And like Jordan Poole makes a lot of money. Who's trading for that guy?
He's making a lot of points too, boy. Ooh, he getting his. You want to talk about a looter? You want to talk about a looter in a riot? This dude went into the store, got some stuff to fill up his trunk, and then went back for drinks. Oh my god, he is chucking it.
Yeah, I just, so they're all really bad. So yes, I get you. Like the Magic were that bad, and now they want to have some fun.
You ready for this one? Wouldn't it be ironic if Kyle Kuzma ended up with the Lakers?
I guess. I don't know. Maybe. I feel like that's kind of been a thing for a while now. Like if people thought Kuzma was going to get out of there, I think Kuzma wants to pull that. You stay with that team, you keep getting that dough. Call that the Beal.
Call that the Bradley Beal.
Yeah, everybody knows once you're on the Wizards, the Wizards can get got because they're going to make bad Wizards decisions. That's just what they're going to do.
Oh my goodness.
Either way, NBA, look, cute. I'm get it. The Magic, you want to have some fun, find your own thing. That's all I'm saying.
You are being very, very.
Or get a better photographer.
But they got nothing to do with that.
Well, they tried. Obviously, this is like a
So,
plan.
so wait, let me get this straight. Whoa. Time out. You're saying that the reason why they didn't pull it off is because of the photographer.
No, I think the reason they didn't pull it off is because it's Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony, not Dwyane Wade and LeBron.
I mean,
number two is,
oh my goodness, you're insufferable. What are you doing?
But number two is get a better, like, look, when Tyreek Hill wanted to do the backflip, what did he do? He put the kid with the cell phone. Now the kid's saying, I got banned by the NFL. That's a sad story. But
really?
But
the kid got banned.
Oh, he got banned. It's a whole thing.
Maybe for life. Maybe for life, he said.
He had LeBron shout him out. LeBron is like telling the NFL to give the kid his credentials back. The NFL took his credentials away because they said, like, oh, you were part of a pre-planned celebration.
Really?
Yep.
Was he? Or
well, I mean, I don't know. He's Tyreek Hill's personal photographer, but he also works for the NFL.
Oh, some backstory.
Right. But now he's saying, but like he tried to do this sad video, which is like, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. I hope that this won't result in my permanent firing. And he's got the troops rallying.
Hey.
He's got the troops rallying behind him.
Let me tell you something. Y'all should be full aware the NFL don't give a damn about the troops you got supporting you.
Even LeBron?
Even LeBron.
Even LeBron can't come in and get the kid his job. I think LeBron can get the kid his job back.
Even LeBron. Let me explain something to you. Okay, LeBron is big. He ain't bigger than the NFL. They don't care.
But if you're going to get some support, LeBron's a good place to start. If you actually
Listen, some worldwide support.
Why can't Stephen Ross call this guy up and be like, hey, can we give the kid his job back? Like, can't Stephen Ross do that?
The NFL has banned people for life and then rescinded it. They do that before. They've done that before.
Maybe.
So like even if they did that.
That could be, but here, if you reinstate him, then you look like a fool.
Do you? I think you look stupid that you did suspend him.
The NFL cares. That's another thing. We're talking about how nobody's bigger than the NFL. They don't care. They do what they want to do.
Right. Like, it's so silly that, because Tyreek Hill planned an iPhone with this kid, that they had this all worked out, that he was going to do the backflip.
I'm surprised they didn't have to scroll to camera. That thing seemed to be locked and loaded, right?
Smart.
But where's the video? Do we have the video of it?
They did. They tweeted it out because the kid works for the NFL, and then they penalized Tyreek Hill. They knew they were going to fine him for it, so they had to delete it off the internet immediately. But we don't forget.
Right.
But it got shown a gazillion, like it got shown on Hard Knocks. Nobody hasn't seen Tyreek Hill do the backflip. Everybody loved it. So this kid shouldn't get banned over it.
He did a backflip and held his hand perfect.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. The NFL used this footage, got some clicks on it, and then fined him and figured that's a bad look. It took it off the website.
They were just done, though.
Well, oh, God.
Speaking of Tyreek Hill, he's got some of the national pundits mad. We'll get to that coming up next. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Tobin and Leroy here with you. Hear them. You could hear this coming up this weekend. Riptide is coming up this weekend on
Nice
Fort
weekend,
Lauderdale
too. Supposed to be a
Beach.
nice weekend.
The world famous concert is happening on Fort Lauderdale Beach. Full lineup has been announced: Black Keys, Jelly Rolls, Bleachers, Young the Giant, Dirty Head, Sublime with Rome, and more. The beach is filled up, and so is the Riptide Music Festival. Head on over to riptidemusicfestival.com to purchase your tickets today, and don't miss out on a great weekend on Fort Lauderdale Beach. The Riptide Music Festival is powered by Ford and sponsored by Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. Gonna fire up that old betting app tonight, see if we get a little action on this Heat game tonight, see what we got going, and get excited for that. Dolphins, of course, back on the practice field today as they're getting ready for the Washington Commanders, who fired Jack Del Rio. So Ron Rivera has taken over defensive play calling duties. Leroy, the old head coach, is getting his hand in on the old play calling.
Wasn't Ron Rivera an offensive lineman?
I thought he was a linebacker. Was he?
Linebacker?
Yeah, he's a defensive guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a linebacker with the Chicago Bears, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was but he's now back calling the defense. It'll be his job to try and stop Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. Good luck. Good luck to him. Tyreek Hill, of course. I love having Tyreek Hill on the Dolphins, not only because he's awesome, mostly because he's awesome, but I also love having the lightning rod. I love having the guy who is saying the things that is driving everybody bananas because he's a troll. Like it really is like having this overconfident, the best in the league, but he's also going to just say the things that makes people nutty. And for whatever reason, since he's been on the Dolphins, it has always been brought up, the comparisons to Kansas City, because he was obviously on one of the best teams. Everybody loved that Kansas City team. Surprising Kansas City would let him go. And so this week,
You're probably regretting it now.
Probably are. I mean, they did win a Super Bowl, but yeah, I would say, why would you not be regretting a guy having the best season of his life? He had the most receiving yards of his career last year. He has been amazing with the Dolphins. So yesterday we talked about these comments that he made on CBS's Golazzo, I think it was, on their soccer show. And he said he thinks this Dolphins team is better than the team he won the Super Bowl with. This, of course, made the rounds because just like when Tyreek Hill said that Tua was the most accurate quarterback he played with, how dare he say anything against the fighting Taylor Swifts? And he is now going, which is basically has taken them as America's team. You can't mess with the Kansas City Chiefs and Taylor Swift. You can't do it. And this made Christopher Mad Dog Russo insane. He hates this. He does not believe in the Dolphins. Here he was on First Take.
Mad Dog.
Yeah, come on.
You picking up what he's putting down?
No,
Buying
what a
it?
joke. I mean, they got killed in
Whoa.
Buffalo. They lost to Kansas City, and they lost by 2 touchdowns to the Eagles. Now he's going to sit there and put this team. This team has done not be fair. And they didn't play that great against the Jets. Tua hasn't been wonderful. I'm not in love with Miami in a big. Plus, they lose the linebacker with the Achilles, which is a big injury. I have some issues. They're going to miss him. I got some major issues with Miami. You think Miami is going to win on the road in a big postseason game in Baltimore or in Kansas City? I got to see that to believe it. The answer is no. They are not as good as Kansas City, and they are or not as good as the Kansas City team that won a Super Bowl. And Hill's crazy if he thinks this is the best team in the AFC.
Very offended that he has the audacity to have confidence in his team, Leroy, which is the thing that I find the craziest about all this. People get so mad at Tyreek Hill because the thing that always gets thrown in his face is, well, you have no credibility because you are on that team. And I always say, why are you mad at a guy having confidence in his team? It's such a strange thing that he dare venture and say that this team could compare with a Super Bowl team.
You know what else is probably one of the dumbest questions that you could ask somebody or an athlete? Do you think you're going to win? What are they supposed to say?
Yeah, how are you going to answer that? You know, man,
Right.
out talented and outclassed, and probably not.
Right. And let's say, yeah, we're going to win. And then somebody like Mad Dog's going to say, you're 2-7. How the hell you expect to win?
You weren't that great against the Jets. It's like they were. They won. They smoked them.
What about the linebacker that hurt himself?
Who? Who is that guy that like? You think if I offered him $10, you think he knows? If I said, Mad Dog, you do talk sports every day. Come on, give me who got hurt. He's not gonna know.
Right.
He'll probably say Von Ginkel.
I don't like, and there's nuance to this. People are stupid. Okay, that includes everybody commenting on what Tyreek has to say. When he said Tua is the most accurate quarterback, he didn't say he was the best quarterback. So for some jackass to run off and say, he said Tua was better than Patrick Mahomes, you didn't hear what he was saying. It is quite possible to be more accurate than another quarterback. And Tua has proven that he is. So
Tua was Tyreek Hill has been more right than the people who are mad at him for what he has said.
Right.
When he's, and mind you, he said that about Tua when people didn't know what Tua was going to do.
People didn't even know Tua was going to play.
People went into last year, and he comes in here and he tells you after a couple workouts, he goes, "This kid's got something," and he was right. Tua had an amazing year. Tyreek Hill had an amazing year. If it wasn't for damn concussions, who knows what that Dolphins team would have done last year if it wasn't for Tua's health. And everything has been backed up in the numbers this year with how good that offense has been.
No, Mad Dog says Tua hasn't done anything special.
Huh? Yeah, he's just like, number 1 rated passer,
It's amazing because even when they come up with like top 5 quarterbacks and whatever, in order to get to those 5 quarterbacks, you have to look over Tua with 5 different guys, knowing that he's on the top of a lot of these categories.
I found it interesting today. Like I went to ESPN, they did a piece on the top 5 candidates for MVP, and they have number 1 Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes number 2, Dak Prescott number 3, 4 Lamar Jackson, and number 5 they put Tyreek Hill, which is cool, but it's strange. Like that is very odd. That I get Tyreek Hill is on the pace for history, and maybe should get some love of that if he actually does something nobody's ever done. But again, we're doing this thing with Tua where it's like, yeah, but those 113 yards he threw to Jalen Waddle? It was all Tyreek Hill. It was all Tyreek Hill. And it's how quickly they want to dismiss the guy as an MVP candidate is pretty wild. It's pretty wild how quickly they want to be rats off a ship on it with him. But everybody else, it's like, I don't
They're
understand.
looking for it. They're making a claim for CJ Stroud more than they are for Tua.
Shouldn't you be skeptical of Dak Prescott? Like, of all the history we have of Dak Prescott, like, doesn't he warrant more skepticism than he's having an amazing?
They still are, though.
Not really. I feel like Leroy. I feel like this last couple of weeks, he's kind of been the toast of the town. Everybody's back on Dak Prescott's jump, which is fine.
Things though. They still say the same things every time they have a conversation about Dak Prescott. They follow it up with these statements. Yeah, but nobody cares about the regular season. He's had great regular seasons. What is he going to do in the playoffs? They say that every time. So while you're, saying they're putting him up there, they're putting him up there with a caveat that he's had awesome regular seasons. What is he going to do in the playoffs? That's what, and guess what? To be honest with you, that's not a terrible thing. That's not a terrible thing to be, because look, if you keep getting there year after year after year, you're going to figure it out. If you don't get there, but once every 3 or 4 years, then it becomes a problem. So for Tua, for guys like Zach, you keep putting yourself in these situations, or Dak, you keep putting yourself in these situations, eventually you're going to get over that hump.
Yeah, look, and Tua's going to have his chances against, I guess, like the 2 other guys on this. He's going head-to-head against Dak, and he's going to have a head-to-head against Lamar Jackson, which is going to, I think, matter in those late votes. But I don't know. It just feels like you have a top 5 list, and you have a guy who the odds makers say is he's 50-1 to win the MVP. Like, he's 50-1, and you have him as a top 5 candidate. That seems ridiculous, but it feels like the only guy that they would dismiss off this list is Tua. And I get it. Tua's thrown some bad picks. He's had some stinkers, but it was 60 seconds of bad football this past week. That's it.
Right. And it was erased by Javon Holland.
Oh, what a play. What a play. What a play. This is what they said at Tyreek Hill for his MVP candidacy. Earlier this month, he downplayed the possibility of winning MVP, implying his quarterback was a more fitting candidate for the award. Tua has stayed healthy, which has allowed him to emerge as one of the league's most prolific passers. But it's his connection with Hill that is the engine behind Miami's offensive juggernaut. Tua has a 95 QBR when targeting Hill, second in the NFL among QB receiver duos, who leads the league in receiving yards with 1,324 and receiving touchdowns with 10 and receiving yards per game at 120.4. Hill's 4.2 yards per route are the most by any receiver in the NFL Next Gen Stats era. I'm sure you love that one, Leroy. That's a new stat, Next Gen Stat era. He's on pace for an NFL record 2,046 yards, which would make him a shoo-in for Offensive Player of the Year if he falls short of the MVP.
It's hard. It would be really hard for him to do it. And one of the things that would put him over the hump is getting that record. But
there's no way he does it there's no way I think he even gets a vote if he doesn't get the record.
Right. But if he does start garnishing, votes and stuff like that, how can you not look at Tua? Because it's going to mean Tua threw for damn near 5,000 yards.
Well, I think the thing that's going to be criminal about it is it feels like they would probably split votes from each other. Because there's going to be voters who debate about it.
Right.
And I look, it's
can Tua still be productive without Tyreek?
Yeah, I think so.
Can Tyreek be productive without Tua?
I mean, he had games last year without Tua that he put up 150. He's amazing.
Right.
He's amazing.
No, he is. But I'm just saying that would be the conversation to be had if you
told me the Dolphins
one or the other.
Yeah, but if you told me the Dolphins can go into this week with Tua or Tyreek, one of them has to sit out. I'm picking the quarterback.
To sit.
To play.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but that's the argument that could be made at the end of the year, regardless of how well both of them do.
It just feels like with this is just being leaned in a way that's like, it sucks that Tyreek doing a historic thing is being looked upon as like an anti-Tua thing, which it shouldn't be. It's like he should be part of the history.
And the other thing is that you have these guys who are taking Tyreek's comments, right? It's rubbing them the wrong way. So how is that going to work with voting?
Right.
Because guys are sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because my Mad Dog, right now, what Mad Dog has told me is if he had a vote, he would never vote for Tyreek with those comments.
Oh, I hope he doesn't have I don't think he does have a vote. Thank God. That linebacker, what's his name? He's out.
That's going to affect them a lot. You don't even know his name. How do you know that's going to affect us a lot?
Who's that guy that just lost? JPP? No, they just signed him, Mad Dog. No. Whatever. You know what I mean. Sorry. Jeez.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, the Dolphins are back at it this weekend. We'll hear a little bit from Tua and Mike McDaniel as Tua has addressed the picks. It has been a thing. I think he's fourth in league right now with 10 picks on the season. And he gets very angry about his interception. So we'll hear a little bit from the Dolphins QB. John Crotty is going to join us next hour as well. We're back with more after this. for Tua, 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 Tagovailoa, not
Tua Tagovailoa.
A for effort, Dolphins quarterback.
Tua.
It's our Tua, it's our Tua.
Tua.
Tua, 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 Tua. Chris Sims can go to hell. Tua Tagovailoa, Dolphins quarterback.
Daddy loves you guys.
Our Tua with Tobin and Leroy.
Check the history of food.
Hour two of the program, ladies and gentlemen. Tobin and Leroy here with you, taking you up until 2. The great John Crotty going to join us in about 15, 20 minutes. We will talk with the Miami Heat television analyst. Love talking to John. Heat back on the hardwood. Said they have lost 3 in a row. It doesn't feel like it because, you know, there's been some guys out and all that, and it was a great game against the Bucks. That was just a very entertaining basketball game. But 3 losses in a row is 3 losses in a row, so they do need to get back in this win column, Leroy, and get things right.
They do. They do. I think for them, though, the most important thing is trying to get healthy. Like, I would like to see this team go on a run where they can get some consistency with bodies so Spo know how to use it, and we're not in the January and February trying to figure out rotations.
You don't think there's a part of Spo where he's just like, yes, I get to tinker with more stuff today?
No.
Guy loves to tinker.
No.
He's like, let me just play Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin looked good his last game. He looks
he looked like he got his explosiveness back.
Mm-hmm.
When he took
Middleton.
When he took Middleton and then went up and under.
That was sick.
Yeah.
That was sick. Let's get into some headlines brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy a truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
Jumping off point, I actually didn't see this, but this was on Twitter a little bit ago from Tyreek Hill. We were talking about his comments, how they rubbed some people the wrong way. I guess on Get Up, they were all on Jet Up. They were also talking about it. And Tyreek Hill tweeted out earlier this morning, and he said, I'm currently watching the guys on Get Up. Tua may be the most underrated quarterback in the league, and it's sad.
Right.
So once again, going to bat for his QB, hearing the nonsense. Where is he listening to that, by the way? Is he like, I wonder if he's listening to that getting his coffee, or you think that's at the facility? He's like, got it on somewhere, got his feet kicked up, and he goes, look at these bums.
I mean, probably get done with practice, go home, relaxing, and flick on Sports Center.
But if it was this morning and Get Up, that means he was watching it this morning. Like, when does he have to get to the facility?
It depends. It's Thursday. So Thursday is the second day of like heavy preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Special teams usually starts at like 8:30.
Because I think they practice in the afternoon.
Right. So here's how it goes. You go 8:30, then you go into meetings. This is what we used to do. We watch film from yesterday, right? Then we may have another, offensive, defensive meeting to go over what we're going to do today. Then you go watch some film on the different situations for that day. Then you might have lunch and then practice.
Josh says, I love Tyreek. Dude is a whopper teller, but he rides for his guys. Exactly, dude.
Well, yeah. It's like when LeBron said he trusted his guys in Cleveland the first go round. No, he didn't.
Man. Anyway, let's hear a little bit from Mike McDaniel. Tua has he threw a couple picks. Everybody saw the film on Hard, except for Leroy doesn't watch Hard Knocks, but Hard Knocks, you saw Tua be all hard on himself and whatnot. Mike McDaniel was asked about his instructions with Tua. He says, I don't just yell at Tua not to throw interceptions because I don't believe that's coaching.
Seems counterproductive, right? I think a lot of times, and correct me if I'm wrong, when coaches yell like that, they almost want the stink on the kid and not on them.
Right.
So at the end of the game, he can go in there and say, we had too many turnovers, right? Now, there's some coaches that no matter what, like Bill Belichick, you can say what you want about him. He ain't never throwing, I don't care how bad he is. Hey, you had to bench Mac Jones, he'll say, I'm trying to win a football game. That's it.
Here is Mike McDaniel on not yelling at Tua.
What I don't do is just scream about don't throw picks, because that's like the coaching point, catch the ball for me. Like, pretty sure everyone's trying. But tangibly, it's assessing, that's why it's so important to be so deliberate every day and so intentional, is because you can recreate those moments of competitiveness, you can recreate game moments, and you have the game moments and you learn from them. And to me, it's not about being infallible. It's about winning at the game of improvement, that I think is a strong, it's a direct correlate to literally everyday life for everyone. Is you just sometimes you have to have the humility to be like, yeah, things are going. I'm going to always have to improve on something.
Wow, that's deep, dude.
Again, is there anything more counterproductive than a coach yelling at a player coming off the field for messing up?
Do you have a dumb?
He didn't want to.
What was the dumbest piece of coaching advice you got after a mistake?
So we were playing in a game, and keep in mind, my left arm, I tore my rotator cuff, but I played the whole year. My arm was in a harness. I ran a swing pass out to the left, right? And I caught the ball like this. And I couldn't really keep my balance. So it was, I had plenty of room to run, and I fell. He goes, put two hands on it. And I lift up my arm. He goes, I'm sorry. Right? Like you want to look good in front of the head coach that you getting after your guy. Like, yeah, man. Like it is counterproductive. But I will say this. Sometimes you do have to be a little more aggressive, right? And I would say concentration stuff, knowing what to do stuff. Because I know coaches, if you don't know what to do, you ain't playing. Simple as that. I don't care how good you are. And that's why he said we practice with a purpose. We practice a specific way so that everybody knows what to do, and it's just a matter of going out and doing the job. That being said, like, the worst feeling in the world is going out there and it's 3rd and 5 and you drop a ball 6 yards. That would have been a first down. You think yelling at the guy's going to make it any better?
Hey, Horde, 2 hands.
Right. So I'm like.
Here's more of Mike McDaniel. He says, no one takes their picks harder than Tua.
He can protect the ball better. He knows that. There's literally no one on the planet that's more angry every time there's a turnover. I'm just telling you. Like he, but that he's got to use it constructively, and it can't be absolute. It can't just be like, I can't throw picks. No, okay. What does that mean? Like they're going to happen. Well, in certain scenarios, do you need to take a risk? Does it need to be a completion for, all of those things? So that's part of the growth process of every player. And, I think we're very fortunate. I feel very fortunate to have, one of the best learners that I've ever been around in coaching at the quarterback position. So he's expecting to be better, just like I'm expecting to be better, like we all should be. So
we're all working on self-improvement. We're all looking within Leroy to get better.
I'm like, he sometimes goes off on little tangents, but the core of who he is pretty good.
Yes.
Right.
He's got
what he's trying to accomplish, how he's trying to accomplish it. And I think because it's so refreshing that the guys are behind him.
Well, there is an element to his picks too that, and this is why I say he's a cat burglar. But sometimes a cat burglar sets off the alarm.
Let me explain something to you. Some of them picks Tua throw, you watching and you going, why? right?
Yeah.
And here's what my coach would never tell me what I should have did. We would watch the film and he would say, "What were you looking at? What did you see?" Right?
Mhm.
And the corrections start there.
Right.
And so I think that's where it is with Tua, because I can pretty much damn guarantee that when he tried to throw that deep into whoever and there's 5 other jerseys there, he probably shouldn't have thrown it there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you're a cat burglar, right, and you try and fit things in, you try and fit between tight windows. Every once in a while, you're going to trip the alarm. That's what happens when you're a cat burglar. You know, sometimes you don't see that they got some laser protection there, and so you think you can get through any type of entrance as a cat burglar would, and that's what Tua is. And so that is the name of thievery. Every once in a while, when you're trying to have pinpoint accuracy, once in a while you're going to miss.
Dande, on your left, there's a button. -1.
Why?
-1.
Let's just say you're no Mike McDaniel. All right.
Dude,
and you trying to no.
That's what happens when you're a cat burglar.
No. Hell no.
When
You're
he's
not
trying to
doing
fit
that.
it between 3
No.
jerseys.
You can keep explaining it 1,000 times. It's only going to accumulate
I don't
more
know,
minus
but
ones.
you're
It's
dismissing.
terrible. It's
not a terrible analogy. That's what
my
dude.
goodness, it's terrible.
You don't think a cat burglar's ever been infallible in their cat burgling career? Like they go out there every once in a while, they're gonna trip an alarm. I remember one time,
You know, a cat burglar, dumbass, is not a cat.
no, it's very agile though. Like it fits through tight windows. That's what makes a cat burglar just not your run of the mill thief.
Oh my goodness. No.
What do you mean?
Nice.
No.
I appreciate your efforts, but that ain't no good.
Dude.
What you just did, it was terrible. It was terrible. Fat cat burglar.
Oh man. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk a little Heat. John Crotty, Miami Heat television analyst, he will stop by and we will talk some Miami Heat with him as the Heat are looking to bounce back off their 3-game skid, and he will come and join the show next. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. We got Heat basketball back on the air tonight. You can listen to that here on 560 WQAM. 6:15 is pre-heat. Alejandro Solana and Tommy Tag will get you set for all the action. Of course, Jason Jackson, Amy Audibert on the call. And if you guys are watching it, you got to be watching on Valley Sports Sun. They will get going for you with their coverage at 7 o'clock for the 7:30 tip tonight against the Indiana Pacers. And there we'll go talk to the television analyst of your Miami Heat, former point guard, John Crotty, joining us here on the show. Crotty, what's going on? How are you?
Crotty.
Guys? How you guys doing?
Good, good.
We were good, man. Crotty, look, this is it's been a 3-game losing streak, but they're obviously dealing with a lot. It was a really fun game against the Bucks right now. What have you made of this skid? Do you think this is the troubling signs of the Heat, or is it just a question of health and there's still a lot of good things happening with them?
Yeah, I think it's really health-based, Tobin, just Brendan, in terms of, missing some key guys. I mean, look, the loss in New York was tough. It was brutal. Being up there, feeling like you were in total control in that fourth quarter was like just absolutely brutal. Worst quarter of the year, and it just shows even in today's NBA with the ability to shoot threes and the momentum shifts, how, a good team can let a game go. And, that's something Miami's got to continue to work on and focus on, those fourth quarter finishes. But overall, having played more road games than any other team and come out, in a scenario where you're 10-8 right now, I think is a pretty positive thing. And I think they learned a lot about themselves, that they got to play with a little bit more pace in particular, as a style of play to get into their offense sooner.
John, I look at this team and I look at Tyler's improvement. I look at Duncan's improvement, Bam's improvement, the addition of Jaime, and even, like, you can say what you want about Kyle Lowry. He seems to know when he needs to pick it up.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm looking at this team and I'm like, they're better than last year because of those things. If there's one area that you say needs to catch up to what they did last year, what would that be?
I'd like to see a continued trend on the defensive end to be consistent, and because that'll keep them in games just like last year. And what you may remember last year is we had like more close games, or they called clutch games, right? Which is games under 5 points in the last 5 minutes than like any other team in the league. And we wound up winning the vast majority of those because your defense keeps you in those games. Right now it's trending the right way. Love to see that continue to pick up and be consistent. And then, this pace thing that I talked about, it's a big deal. It's not, when you hear that initially, you're thinking, hey, that means fast break game. You got to play and score in the fast break game. Well, you'd love to do that, and the Heat do that well off their defense, forcing turnovers. But it's really about more running into your offense, where you have then more time in the half court on your shot clock, being able to move the ball around and share it and attack that way, and not be walking the ball up the floor super deliberate, and struggling with shots like in less than 5 seconds on the shot clock, which when we started the season went 1-4. To me, that was the number one, trend that I saw over and over and over again. And that's changed. So I think you pointed to some good things. There's been a lot of organic growth, right? We didn't have to bring in a ton of new people. Bam's at another level, guys. I mean, his scoring ability is awesome. His ability to create his own shot. Think about where he was when he came into the league to where he is now. He was a lob catch, finish around the rim guy. He's creating his own offense, jab step jumper. He can handle the basketball and attack. He's creating a nightmare matchup every game for opposing, big men. Tyler is just a professional scorer, and he's only going to help us when he gets back with his ability to create. Jimmy's doing what he's doing. I think, Jaime Jaquez Jr. has been a really pleasant surprise. I think we knew he was going to help, but not to this level. And then Duncan is just, getting the minutes, and the confidence is back. When we had the injury last year to the hand, he was on the bench for a while, which can just crush your spirit and your confidence. I think he's shown incredible mental toughness and fortitude to have the year he's having. So there's a lot of positive things to point to.
The ball has to go through Bam now, right? Because he's so important, top of the key, getting down in the box or whatever. they're going to close down on him. So he has to get a touch to free up. It's going to create more space for those 3-point shooters.
So I agree with you, but I think the thing that is interesting about this team and why they don't have outside of Kyle Lowry a quote unquote pure point guard is because Bam can facilitate.
Right.
Jimmy can facilitate. So can Tyler. It's pretty unique. And what that does is it changes the attack points on your offense so that if you're on a defensive side scheming, you can't really gear up on any one player. You can't gear up on play calls per se, because the ball it's in a motion offense and the ball's moving.
Right.
So it's just harder to prepare for, harder to defend.
Jaime Jaquez Jr., John, has just been so dazzling. Seems like we see something new from him every single night. What are the things that just impress you the most about him?
Yeah, his maturity, so initially he came in, if you remember, he had the injury and he was kind of working his way into the lineup. And even in like 9 minutes, 10 minutes, he was doing something tangible every night, which is really hard to do. He's not getting his play called for him. He's finding hustle plays and touches. I think what initially struck me was his footwork and his pivot game and ability to score around the basket. He's a lot stronger than I thought at 6'6". He's a lot quicker than I thought. He has burst to get on top of the rim. And then he's been able to develop with more increased time. Not that he's developing, he's had it, but he's being able to show he's making 3-point shots, which, I spoke to Don McClain, who's a guy I played with in the league in Seattle. And Don was part of the CAA agency group, which prepared guys, for 2 months before the draft. And he worked with Jaime like every day. He goes, John, this guy can really shoot it. People don't know. And he'll do whatever it takes to win. And those comments just, to me, resonate with how well he's translated his game, with the Heat. And I think you're seeing a guy who, because he played 4 years, has a bit more experience and of being, up the ups and downs, and has had to shoulder a lot of load when he played in college. So, he's not phased right now. He's fitting in. He feels like he belongs. And, we're seeing a guy who's an effective player night in, night out.
Do you feel like for him, you mentioned that because of the experience, like, do you feel like there's less of a chance of the maybe league adjusting to him? Do you feel like it's just going to be that more improvement from him from a comfort level? Like, he just seems like for everything someone's going to throw at him, he's got a new trick that's up his sleeve to throw at somebody.
I agree. He's got a very well-rounded game, Brendan. I mean, that's what I would say. I mean, it's not one-dimensional. He's not just a driver. He's not just a low post player, which he's shown he can do. He can play with his back to the basket. He's showing the ability to score beyond the arc, 3-point line. Right now he's a 39% 3-point shooter. So he can rebound. He can defend. We saw him stand up a couple of the top defenders on this last road trip, go chest to chest with some guys. I mean, he is doing a lot of different things well, which I really appreciate. At times I feel like the league it's too full of, guys who are quote unquote specialists at one thing. And I think when you see our team here on the Heat side, they work on different aspects of their game, and it makes them more well-rounded. Duncan's a great example. He's not just a 3-point shooter. He can do other things. And Bam and his continued development, again, it makes you a better, well-rounded, tougher to guard player.
What did you make of the end of that Bucks game? Because Spo got he does not get teed up a lot.
No, you're right.
Maybe when he runs out on the court for those timeouts a little too quick, but he doesn't get hit with yelling at the refs. I don't remember the last time he ever got kicked out of a game. Yeah. But he was not pleased with the end of that game. John, that's got to be so hard. You're competing against one of the best point guards in the league, and the refs, we're having a fun physical game, and then to have it, the air, you described it as air getting taken out of the game like that. How deflating did you find that the officials wanted to get involved in a game like that, and then especially tack on something to Spo for the end of that Bucks game?
Well, you really hit it when you talked about Spo. He never puts his team in a position where he self-destructs and, all of a sudden there's too many free throws and the game's over. He's always very cognizant. He's got a really interesting style. If you ever watch him, when he gets animated and upset, he will get animated and upset, but he won't stare at the guy. He'll actually avert his eyes and kind of walk alongside the guy and try to make it less confrontational. It's pretty interesting, actually. And he does a great job of it. I know I wouldn't be as measured and calm at times as he is. So you're right. It got away from him a bit, and the emotions boiled over. But look, he makes so many good decisions and plays, and I can't say enough good things about him, because I think a lot of the reason we're seeing these guys improve as a direct relation to Spo and his greatest asset to me, which is, and Leroy, I think you could appreciate this, infusing confidence into the players, whether they're the older guys or the younger guys. If you feel like your coaches are behind you and they're saying, "Hey man, you're a good shooter, shoot the basketball. I'm not taking you out if you miss shots. I'm going to take you out if you don't take them."
Look at how it worked for Tua.
I'm just saying, think about sort of the old school coaching versus that mentality. It's a different mentality, and whereas in the past, I would say the majority of coaches are much more negative and don't take that shot. That's a bad shot. Pull you out of the game. And in confidence, how important it is to a professional athlete being successful.
Yeah.
And I know I kind of pivoted the question on you, Brendan, but I think it's such an amazing thing that Spo does, and you see it. I see it with some of the individual guys and the breakthroughs that these guys have, and I think a lot of can be attributed to that.
We were actually talking a little bit about this previous segment, because Mike McDaniel was talking about, he doesn't yell at Tua, "Don't throw picks." He finds that to be stupid coaching. Like, right. Catch the ball. Like, do you remember, John Crotty, a terrible piece of coaching that you got in your career? Because Leroy was saying he had some of that of a coach who didn't even remember he was injured to get two hands on the ball. Do you remember dumb coaching back in the day? You don't have to name the coach, but whatever, you got berated, and it was like, that was not helpful for me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, regularly, just with the negative stuff and the controlling of every play and every, to the point where, as a player, you just get more tight, and what the Heat do so well, I think, is they allow everybody to participate. And one of the things that this pace does that Spo's pushing is, by pushing the ball up earlier into the offense, everyone touches the basketball and relaxes and feels like they're part of the play. It's a natural rhythm and flow of basketball when you're touching it. If you're not touching it and suddenly you get the ball and you're wide open for a shot, you're less likely to make that shot. It's to me, it's just very natural when the ball's moving and everyone's sharing in it. Your chances of being successful are better, and so much of that is coaching and pushing a sort of a positive agenda. Now, look, there are moments that you're going to be negative and critical, which is, you have to be, but I think you tend to do that on a practice session or in a film session, or even one-on-one if you really want to get into a situation there to try to make something happen in a positive way, at the same time being constructive, about a play or a situation.
John, I always got the feeling that coaches that did what you're talking about, they almost did it to get the stink off of them, right? Yeah. So it's almost like a way of saying, this guy is why we're losing, right? And like it sometimes, you see it in coaching a lot, especially with teams that aren't doing well.
Yeah.
Right.
It's almost like it's like out of insecurity, right? Or like, yeah. Right. No, I think you're right. I think it's a good point. And to me, everyone sees that on the team. It doesn't help, that coach and his stature either. The thing that I've noticed, not just about Spo, but some of the best coaches that are in the league and on the NBA side, is the humility that the best coaches have now is amazing. And so what do I mean by that? I mean, obviously everyone knows what humility means, but it's really, it would be just being humble enough to have the conversation and put themselves second basis and want the success for that player, and that being a very tangible thing that everyone in the locker room knows. You want to go the extra mile for that guy, you want them to be successful, and you can't fool players, right? I mean, you can't. You're there day to day, and guys can read, the room and the situation, and to your point, if a coach is doing that regularly, players know.
You guys can watch John Crotty tonight with Eric Reed on Bally Sports Sun. Heat and Pacers, 7:30 tip. Their coverage on Bally gets going at 7. We always appreciate the time, John. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
you got it. Looking forward to this game. It's going to be a good one. This team is playing
High
very well.
scoring. High scoring. Oh my goodness,
They appreciate it, John. Thank you so much. We will take a quick break. Back with more after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Thanks again to John Crotty for stopping by the show.
Always like talking to John.
Always love talking to Crotty. And you guys, again, can watch him tonight on Bally Sports Sun with Eric Reed. Heat Pacers, 7:30. And you can listen to that right here on 560 WQAM. Leroy, looking like it might be Joe Flacco time in Cleveland, huh? Still in, yeah.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Dude, I'm sorry.
Miles Garrett better step up.
Wow. Who do you guys got this weekend? The Browns got LA.
Woo!
All right. Joe Flacco, that's hard times, dude. You're going from you have this season, you're 7-4. You get a good record. It's not a bad place to be in, but I mean, you can't feel good that Joe Flacco is going to lead you to anything. There's no way.
No.
There's no way.
No.
Flacco?
I just think, to be honest with you, they are thinking the way all of Cleveland is thinking. He's a vet. He won't throw all those picks. He'll, protect the ball. And I'm like, okay.
I mean, he probably will protect the ball because he's a statue. Like, he's probably not going to do anything, but he's so old. Like,
so old.
How old is Joe Flacco now? Like, what are we talking? Because it feels like he's 45. It says he's 38. I need confirmation on that. I need a birth certificate because it feels like he's even older than that. If you told me that he's in his 30s, but dude, I can't believe you're at this point. Joe Flacco.
Dude, what are the other choices?
Oh, I mean, they're not great. They're not great. I guess you just got to hope that DTR gets cleared. That's like what you got to hope for.
I think even if he gets cleared,
they're still
they
going.
Still may go with Joe Flacco because they think that he gives them a best chance of not turning the ball over.
Oh my God, dude.
That's too, but listen. I'm a firm believer that to get ready for football, you got to play football. You can't be sitting on your ass for 3 or 4 months and then all of a sudden go play NFL football. Ain't nobody that good.
You're saying Aaron Rodgers can't come back with the bad Achilles and play because he's ready for practice?
I didn't say because of injury. He's around the building. He's there. Okay? I'm saying a guy who you would never even associate with the Cleveland Browns sitting at home doing what he's been doing and then come learn a new offense, get in some type of game shape and do all those things. That's what I'm talking about. And what is he, 37?
38.
38. Tom Brady killed it for all these quarterbacks because just because Tom Brady could do it at an old age don't mean your old ass could do it. No, here's another thing. I always think of this. Think of all the teams that need a quarterback. Why ain't nobody called Joe Flacco?
Because his own kids were rooting for him at the end of last year. Goes against the Dolphins and Jets. They're wearing Tyreek Hill jerseys.
Why wouldn't the Jets call him?
Oh, well.
He's closer. Listen, he was closer to being able to go in there and play for that team, right?
I mean, I don't think they're the same coordinator, so maybe that's probably the reason. Like they're all Nat Hackett guys.
Okay, go ahead, Tim Boyle.
Oof, so bad. I still think this Aaron Rodgers thing. This is all fishiness out there. Dude, tossing that pigskin.
He is not playing this year.
It would be such a bad decision. It would be such a bad decision. First of all, that line is going to get him killed. Especially, dude, let's think about this. What if it's in a couple weeks against the Dolphins? Like, you don't think Christian Wilkins is going to be licking his chops to hit that hippie and on his barbed wire leg? I mean, it's just such a. We just saw what happened to poor Tim Boyle, and yeah, he's Tim Boyle. I get it, but this dude has a torn leg that he's got sewn together 11 weeks ago, he's not going to be able to get out of the way of Bradley Chubb and Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer.
Hell, when he got hurt, he couldn't get out of his own way.
No. I don't know, man. Like, I'm sure there's part of him that wants to beat this and just to have the ego of, see, I killed the timeline. But like Jalen Ramsey did that, and he's very productive. I mean, but no one's gonna go and kill Jalen Ramsey. Like one's gonna. There's no 300 pounders after Jalen Ramsey.
It's not an Achilles. Jalen Ramsey had a knee injury, okay,
Right.
And he had knee surgery. But the extent of that knee surgery is what people fail to realize. They just heard knee surgery. He could have just had his meniscus cleaned up. He didn't have anything was torn.
No, but they said he wasn't gonna be back till December.
Right. But again, let me explain this to you. You have knee surgery. They think they know what's going on in there. They don't know how bad or how good it is until they actually get the scope in there. So when they get the scope, they start cleaning the meniscus and the debris or whatever, and then they could come out and say, it wasn't that bad, right? But you don't know that until you have surgery. And everybody just all of a sudden just assuming, the timeline or whatever, before that surgery, that's the part that's a reach.
So you're saying Jalen Ramsey didn't beat a timeline? You're calling?
No, I'm not saying that.
Kind of feels like you are.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that
I think he's Wolverine.
we take these injuries and we clump them into a, what we think the return is without knowing the severity of the injury, right? Like for example, did Aaron Rodgers totally tear his Achilles, or was it a partial tear?
They said it was a total tear. That's what they say.
Who's they?
They were talking about this on the broadcast, that there was a total tear, but he did some kind of a more aggressive surgery with it was so gross. They put up like the graphic, and it was like they put like giant fish lure line in there and like sewed it together more aggressively for like a more aggressive comeback. But that it's an unconventional thing. Normally, that's not what you do. You do what the Jaelan Phillips is, which is he's going to be out for at least a year.
At least a year, correct.
But apparently Aaron, because I guess Aaron's thought of it was, I'm old. I want to get back as fast as possible.
And when you mean fast, you mean the beginning of next year.
Well,
that would still be fast.
It would be fast, but his window is open. He is eligible to return, and he's doing what they're calling functional football activities.
That means nothing.
Dude, that's what they're saying.
Would you like to make a wager on whether Aaron Rodgers plays this year?
No, I don't trust the Jets.
Okay.
I would never bet on
You
the
don't
Jets
trust
or
Aaron
him. I
Rodgers.
don't trust either of them. Two peas in a pod.
Mr. Ayahuasca.
Yeah, I don't, nothing around this, as I don't know what his intentions are. I don't know what their intentions are, and I don't trust either party involved.
I think if he played and got hurt, that would be Robert Saleh's last coaching day.
That'd be a tough one to come back from, for sure.
Right.
Because they're already, and the word is like they're not going anywhere. Like they all get the Aaron Rodgers pass this year. So like, what do they want him to risk it for? They all have a job for another year. If that's true.
There's always, there's another reason why you would get a pass. Whoever decided Zach Wilson was the guy. If it wasn't the coaching staff, that also could get him a pass.
Yeah, well, he may not be the guy, but I don't think Tim Boyle's the guy either.
Oh no. Wow.
Woo!
He looked terrified.
I mean, he goes, my stats weren't even good in college. I can't have you be that honest, Tim. Tell me like you had the coaches against you or something like that. Tim's like, I don't really know why I'm here.
That guy looks like a football player. Look at him. He's tall, big. He looks like, and he's like, no, not really, dude.
Take a quick break. Get to some cat talk coming on up as the Cats are back on the ice, and some more things about the Dolphins, including Mike McDaniel does have an update on Jaelan Phillips' surgery. That's next. Welcome back, everybody. It is Tobin and Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM, taking you up until 2 here on the program. Play a little Goosies, no Goosies later on this hour. First, let us get to some cat talk here, brought to us by our friends over at Celsius. Hockey fans, don't sit this one out. When it's game time, make Celsius a part of your play and get that energy up. Game day is fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks, the official energy drink of
your Florida Panthers.
Panthers back on the ice tonight against the Montreal Canadiens. 7 o'clock puck drop. You can hear that here tonight on Waxy AM 790. That is where you guys can listen to your Florida Panthers as they look to bounce back from getting screwed against the Toronto Maple Leafs, where, you know, everybody was off. The game was over. Everybody accepted the game was over. And the refs all of a sudden were like, he touched it twice. Nobody knew. And all of a sudden we had to go back and the Cats lose. They did get a point against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who, I mean, their fan base is just the worst. You know, normally I know everybody says with Toronto and Canadians, very polite. You know, they were so mad that Florida dusted them last year. They chanted, "We want Florida." And for that, I will never forgive them. So that gets going. Montreal tonight. They're not great. So go get this one, Cats. By the way, I was reading in David Dwork's column on the Hockey News, Leroy, our boy, Panthers insider, Matthew Tkachuk. He was named the 4th most fashionable player in the NHL. Dude can dress. Yep. Fashionable, J-Fig. The Tkachuk. I mean, like, it's surprising because I'm surprised he doesn't want to punch his tailor in the face. Just like that's.
Yeah. We can see how many suits you made, Teller.
Yeah. Tkachuk. Tkachuk. Those Tkachuks, I mean, just a couple of menaces. I mean, could you imagine if they ever ended up on the Panthers together? It would be the most, I mean, very talented, but it would be the most despised team in the league.
What was that movie in the 70s? The hockey movie?
Slapshot?
Slapshot. There it is.
You know, I never saw Slapshot. Never saw
Paul Newman? Yeah, man.
You weren't born. You weren't born. So
but I've seen every Rocky 9 times, so I don't know if that counts. I don't know.
First Rocky was 75,
something like that. But no, I mean that was crazy what we saw. So the Panthers continue tonight. Let's get to the rest of our headlines. Brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks. Hello, Jennifer.
Oh, hello, Jennifer.
We had to give you the proper hello. You kind of sneak in.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah.
Sneak in the cat door. Have you recovered from your arachnophobia yesterday?
You know what? I don't know. Because the second I got on camera, I sneezed.
That's crazy. Dan, do you have any weird fears like this? We learned yesterday she's terrified of spiders.
No, Dan's from a place where they eat all the critters.
Yeah, just put them in my mouth.
That's disturbing.
You don't even understand that. Like,
ever do that next to me?
You know what? In Louisiana, if it have a heartbeat, somebody gonna try to saute it with garlic and butter.
Man, that nutria rat hits the spot every time at 3 o'clock in the morning.
No.
Done it.
Spider?
Spider.
I
People eat grasshoppers.
Grasshoppers all the time.
That's more acceptable than something that has 8 legs.
Wait, listen. Here's a thought for you jackasses out there eating interesting stuff. Is not what the world provides good enough? You got to go put chocolate on a grasshopper?
I mean, the world does provide grasshoppers.
I mean, but come on.
You remember this? We talked about this a little bit earlier in the week, Leroy. Mike McDaniel, he revealed, the Dolphins taking on the Commanders this week. He revealed that he at one point tried to get a job with Ron Rivera, to which Ron Rivera replied to him. This was Mike McDaniel discussing this story because we do have an update on it. But here's Mike McDaniel earlier in the week.
Well, I have a ton of confidence and a lot of respect for Coach. I think Coach Ron, as he called it, was the first person when I was a GA, or when I was trying to get a GA job coming out of college. I was writing letters all over the country, and he was one of the first people that actually responded to a letter to try to give me a job. Didn't give me a job, but so I have a lot of respect for him. He's played him in multiple competitive scenarios with Carolina as well. So I'm sure they'll get that place going sooner than later, and hopefully, if we have any say in it, it won't be this week.
That's very nice. So Ron Rivera, of course, man's man coach. You know, he's tough. He's tough. He used to be a linebacker. So Ron Rivera was asked about this week at his press conference, and if he recalled a letter from Mike McDaniel. This is what the Commanders head coach had to say.
Well, I remember replying, and then he reminded me of it last year when I was at one of the committee meetings, and we had a great conversation. He's very bright, very sharp young man. He really is. I mean, you know, when people do things like that, you know, they take the initiative. It goes back to that old saying that I was told back in the day when I wanted to get into coaching, and that is, they're not going to send the limo, so go get the job. And that was my mentality, and I was very impressed with that, and that's why I responded. You know, he took the time, and the least I could do was take the time to respond to him. And, you know, and it's kind of proven it, because I mean, he's turned into a heck of a football coach. He really has. He's done a great job.
Here's the kicker. See, that's how intangibles say it. Limo's not gonna come get you. You know, you're gonna have to go get it, right? In the hood, you know what we say?
What's that?
Job ain't never come knock on that damn door. You got to go out and get it.
Hispanics say things like that too.
Who is it? Job.
Well, I think the intangible saying is squeaky wheel. I feel like that's the intangible saying.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, like Vic Fangio feels like he says, you know, squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Has he eaten his eggs Benedict from Friendlies?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the intangible
Cracker
saying.
Barrel. For you know, he is tearing up Cracker Barrel.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Defensive. Fangs probably loves this. He goes, "Oh, you think Rivera's better than me? Defensive mind, Rivera." Like, you know, I think we got a showdown at the old defensive guru corral. I did like, though, like Jalen Ramsey. They were putting up like Jalen Ramsey, because this is what a team guy does. He doesn't have to brag about himself like a young Jalen Ramsey did. You know, he was all these stats that have come out for the Dolphins since he has returned to the lineup. You know, the rankings for the Dolphins since he has come back, you know, have been fantastic. And I got to feel like he's a big reason for that. I mean, the Dolphins haven't been atrocious on defense for a while now, but
you were rats off a ship on Fangs earlier in the season.
No, I wasn't rats off a ship. I just said that he's not gonna.
Goodness.
No, dude, that was not rats off a ship. All I said was he's not gonna have a honeymoon phase with me after his flirtations in the offseason. You better come in here and fix this. Now he's done it.
Why do I feel like I need a court reporter every time we talk?
I don't know.
Because we do.
Right.
Dolphins
Dude, you lie all the time.
That's not true. I'm not a liar.
You blasted Fangs.
No, I'm not. I did blast Fangs when he needed to. You know, I was like, hey,
when he needed to.
Just a little TTL. That's all that is. A little tough love. No big deal.
He got a lot of that.
He did, but he deserved it. And the old love, tough love.
Do they?
I think so. So Jalen Ramsey, there was a graphic that NFL Game Day put out. The Dolphins, since Jalen Ramsey's debut, are fourth in points allowed per game, 16 since he's come here. They are first in total yards per game allowed in 235. They are tied for second in interceptions a game. They are fifth in opposition passer rating, and they are second in opposition third down percentage, which I know is one of those stats you don't care about, Leroy. But Jalen Ramsey, he comes out on Twitter and he goes, nah, this is what we're not going to do. It ain't just me. I've been able to be another piece of the puzzle, but for sure all my dogs and the whole defense has been on another level. We have a lot of Pro Bowl and all-pro players on this squad. That's a humble leader, Leroy. Will not take all of the credit, even though he did win that Raiders game by himself, basically. And he did embarrass Mac Jones. He's good. He's good. There's no doubt that he is whatever piece of the puzzle he is. He's like that important piece that Mima's been looking for on the coffee table to complete whatever puzzle she was completing. Like, that is Jalen Ramsey as the piece of the puzzle.
Well, that puzzle ain't complete, as I told you.
It's still got not. Why not?
Nobody walks around the house saying, "Ooh, let me go get a piece of that puzzle." That's why.
Well, I thought that she'd just be working
I
on it
wanna
day in
help
and day
her.
out.
She just does a little drive-by. She'll fix a couple little pieces. Sometimes Mel and Rebecca will sit there for like 2 minutes. They'll do a couple of pieces.
Mm,
You know who's not?
Leroy.
This guy. Give a rat's ass about a puzzle.
Oh man. Speaking of, we were talking about Aaron Rodgers last hour and his Achilles surgery. Mike McDaniel has given us an update on Jaelan Phillips and where things stand with his surgery. Would you like to hear this, Leroy?
Sure.
Here is Mike McDaniel on if they went conventional route with Jaelan Phillips.
Did he undergo what could be termed, I guess, as conventional Achilles surgery, or more in nature of what Aaron Rodgers underwent?
No, they performed the surgery while he was hanging like a bat. No, I don't know. Like, no, it was more. You didn't even laugh. Like you were ready to tweet, bro. All right, I'll work harder. Yeah, I'll do better.
Maybe the guy just thought
Such a delight.
Maybe the guy just thought, I don't know. I didn't think you were going to make jokey jokes about a guy's torn Achilles.
-1.
Oh no.
Bad joke. Bad joke.
No time to joke about torn Achilles, Dan Day.
Yeah, no, it's no time to joke about someone that needs major surgery and can't play for a whole year and has in the past had history problems with the injuries. Yeah, that's not a good joke.
Mike McDaniel's the type of guy that makes jokes at funerals. Like he tries to break the ice of a tough situation.
That would be so awkward.
Like that's definitely Mike McDaniel. You know, he's probably like, that's the best that they could do with the open casket.
Did he realize it's a bad joke and tried to cover it? Like, no laugh. Oh, you're ready to tweet, huh? Like, let's move past this. Come on, let's go.
Definitely one of these. Yeah, he's like, oh, you know, he's a stand-up comedian. He's always working on new material, but if it doesn't fly over, he's gonna pressure you into laughing. You didn't appreciate it, Leroy?
It was very visual.
It's just he's funny. He's just funny. He responds to 12 things that a person says and they only say one thing. And just like his mind working to try to cut the question asker off at the pass, right? Mike McDaniel speaks like this. He answers every question so there's no damn follow-up. So if he gets a sense of where this is heading, he'll answer that question before you ask. Now, if you weren't going to ask another question, then it becomes awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I never thought of that.
Oh, man. We'll take a quick break. Back more for this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Play a little Goosies, no Goosies coming up in about 15 minutes as the Miami Dolphins will be back on the field this Sunday against the Washington Commanders. We will, of course, have Game Day Uncensored come your way at 9 o'clock on Sunday.
I hate these games.
Why?
Because I hate going into games where the only thing that can happen to the Dolphins is negative.
You just don't think they could be like, you think that they're 9.5-point favorites going into this week.
The only thing that could happen to the Dolphins in this game is negative. You see what I'm saying? Being that you can't, if they play poorly, if God forbid Washington wins, right?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those games where,
I get that, sometimes like guys will look at this like in the fight game. It's a lose-lose fight. Like there's a fight coming up. Patty Pimblett, who's like one of the young fighters, he's fighting Tony Ferguson, who everybody thinks is washed, but is known. And he says it's a lose-lose fight for him because he can't get any credit if he wins. But if he loses, I mean, don't lose.
Right.
I don't agree with that, though. Here's why. I do think that, especially with Tua, I think that, this team has had a propensity to turn the football over. I would really love to see them play a clean football game from a turnover perspective. I think that to me is the big goal is getting everything. I think that they have done a fantastic job against the teams they are clearly more talented than. They don't fat cat into games. They don't go into games overlooking anybody. I don't think they will this week, but it is a road game. I think that's always an interesting challenge of bringing things on the road. That's always a good practice, I think, for them. They're going to go. Tua's going to his cold weather haven because I think they're doing their last walkthrough at the University of Maryland, home of Baby Bro, who, if he gets a waiver, maybe he can become the Canes quarterback. Huh?
Give
him a little waiver. What's the big deal? Give him a little more eligibility.
I would guess that TVD is going to end up with Rhett Lashley, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Where's he's at? SMU?
Yep, he's at SMU.
They've been known to score a bunch of points anyway.
He loved playing with Rhett Lashley, man. I wouldn't be that seems to make a whole lot of sense. But I think for me, that's the important thing, Leroy, is this Dolphins game. Tua talked about, he intercepted. Do you have that, Dan Day, Tua on his interceptions? Because he was talking about how mad he is, about Mike McDaniel trying to stay with it. And Mike McDaniel says nobody's angrier at interceptions than Tua is. And Tua had made this point. Like, it's nice that Mike McDaniel has his faith in him, but he's still got to clean things up. Here's the quarterback.
It means a lot, but that's just the nature of how I play the position. I take it upon myself every time, regardless of Mike saying that it was his play calling. He entrusts me to go out there with whatever play that we have, and if it's not the right coverage that we want that play in, to get us out of it, throw the ball away, do something, but not throw a pick six in that situation. So I appreciate the trust that he continues to have in me, but that's something that I can't do.
Yeah, I think that this is one of those weeks, and obviously, look, the Commanders playing a tough division with Dallas and Philly, but their only win over the last 6 games has been against the fighting McCorkles. I mean, they've lost to the Giants twice. They obviously got,
they lost all of their pass rush.
Yeah, they got stomped on by the by the Cowboys. This is one of those where I just really would love the Dolphins to go out there, play a clean game, play a clean game on the road. And I'm not even just talking the picks. The fumbles have annoyed me too. The Dolphins have fumbled the ball a ton. They've gotten a little lucky with their fumbles too, where they're one of the league leaders in fumbling the football away, but they haven't lost the football as much as a lot of the leaders.
Leading the league, yeah. They've been very fortunate that a fat lineman or a wide receiver was in the area.
So I just want to see that stuff cleaned up, man. That's really the big thing for me in this one. I get what you're saying. Like, I don't think anyone's going to walk out of this week saying, well, this proves to me even more that the Dolphins are contenders.
Right. It's going to be the opposite.
But I think from their perspective,
from the Dolphins' perspective, go get better and clean things up. Right. I get that. I just hate these games from the standpoint of no matter what the Dolphins do on Monday, do on Sunday. On Monday, the comments are going to be much of the same. Right? And it sucks because these Dolphins aren't the same.
maybe the Dolphins should just bring in Jack Del Rio as like a leak. Be like, hey, Del Rio, you want to leak all that stuff? Do coaches have to sign NDAs?
That I know of. Hell, I think I still got playbooks around my.
I wonder if I don't know if anybody wants Jack Del Rio's device. I mean, the guy one time put a stump in his locker room and had the kicker cut off his foot. But so I don't know if you want Jack Del Rio's advice, but it would be funny if like they brought him in as a leak to everything that runs with that Commanders organization. Typically, that's done with like
you. Can I ask you a question?
The third running back that gets cut.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You want to waste that for Washington?
Nah, I mean, listen. You guys were doing it for Central Michigan.
No, we weren't doing it for Central Michigan. We're doing it for Michigan State.
You infiltrated Central Michigan.
Infiltrated Central Michigan to get the goods on Michigan State
with Google glasses. Old Connor Stallions.
Let me tell you, you try to go there and look inconspicuous.
Mm-hmm.
He looked very conspicuous.
Dude, can I tell you who I just cannot stand? I mean, I just see him on
add another guy, J-Fig. Add another guy to his list.
I think you'll agree.
Another guy to the list.
I think you'll agree with this. Like, my TV comes on. This guy comes on my TV, and I'm just like, ugh, because I don't think he likes anything. Paul Feinbaum.
Oh my god!
Feinbaum just gets on there today talking about the rankings. I'm like, oh, you want another SEC team in there? Click. Get out of here.
And then was it Heather Dinich?
Yeah.
She's having the conversation, and the reason he goes, no, just dismisses her.
No. I'm just like, like he just
is that the like that guy has a very successful radio show, and he's all over ESPN during college football, and I've never even heard him. He talks monotone.
Oh yeah,
we love those
because he just brings up. He's like one of the last guys I think who uses the caller. He's like, Paul, hey, I can't believe this, Paul. What do you mean we're only getting one SEC team, Paul? They can't be keeping us out. Roll Tide.
And here's the problem. And here's what a lot of people have stated. What the problem is with the SEC. All of your teams are ranked. You all play each other. And then you get credit for beating ranked teams when it's because your whole conference is ranked.
I agree. It's a ranking Ponzi scheme.
Right.
By the way, speaking of Paul Feinbaum listeners, this happened in Dixie, Florida. A man was pulled over and he had an alligator hidden in the trunk, according to Florida Wildlife. Deputies pulled him over and he had like in one of those sacks, 3-foot alligator in there. He claims, though, he told the officer that he caught the small gator on a paved road crossing and that he was just scared it was going to get run over and that he planned to release it to a private pond.
So why is there a belt receipt back here?
I think it's a logical
with an order for 6 belts.
Florida Wildlife says the man knew that it was not allowed to legally possess an alligator and claimed an understanding for the regulations, which who the hell knows the regulations for this other than like Joe Exotic? Like, what do you mean? There are regulations for this?
Come on. Hey, let's be clear. Tobin, you telling Bubba when he can hunt and can't hunt? When it's hunting season down south, when somebody's hungry.
I would be terrified to open the trunk.
Oh, I would be too. I mean,
they don't care.
I know they don't care. This is why
there's no other reason why somebody would put their head inside of an alligator.
Dude, it'd be like this guy was just speeding and they're like, sir, will you please open your vehicle? Listen, officer, I don't know if you're going to want to do that. What, you got a weapon in there? What's going on? potato cannon. What's back there? I really don't want to open it. Hey, open that there trunk. And there's a mother bleeping alligator in the back. And he's like, he warned you.
It's probably like a regular Tuesday for them, to be
Guy
honest.
says David Godfrey was charged with unlawful possession of an alligator and received a notice to appear in Dixie County Court. The alligator was seized as evidence.
Hope he's a musician, because when they catch you in the Dukes of Hazzard, you got to perform at the end of the show. and saying you got a summons to go to Dixie Court. Yeah, it sounds like you better bring your banjo.
All right, we're here at Dixie Court, and here's what we're gonna do. Mr. Godfrey, if that's what they call you, we're gonna have you wrestle this there alligator. If you win, you get to keep him. If you don't, you lose your arm. That's that. Ready? Wrestle.
You can't. Them rednecks know how to wrestle gators.
Dude,
That's
I
like
don't
in
understand.
their DNA.
I've gone to that Everglades Park, man, with the Gator boys who actually do I mean, they're nuts. Put their head there on the chin.
They go. See, the reason why we can do this is y'all don't understand the animal like we do. We understand the gator, right? I say, no, you don't, because I turn on YouTube and once a month, one of y'all getting y'all face bit off.
Yeah. Something, dude. All right, we'll play a little Goosies, no Goosies coming on up. Welcome back, everybody. It is Tobin and Leroy here with you. Time to get to our favorite Thursday game, a little Goosies. No Goosies. As we got lots to dive into. JFig will get us our list here. Just want to remind everybody, fall sports season is here. So is our Dave & Buster's gift card giveaway. We got your chance to win a $250 gift card from Dave & Buster's to watch it all. Good night to go tonight. You watch Little Heat, Little Panthers, all at D&B. To enter, go online to the WQM contest page and submit your entry. If you win, you can go to Dave & Buster's in Hollywood with your gift card. Spend the day watching your favorite teams, all on us and Dave & Buster's. Eat, drink, play, watch sports at Dave & Buster's in Hollywood. JFig.
Hello.
What do we got
You ready
for
Goosies?
Spider, no spider? What do we got?
You know, I was terrified to open the emails today.
Why?
Because I don't know. There's just a certain amount of troll.
I am.
Wait,
No.
can I just tell you that spider had a human face?
I don't want
It was creepy.
I'm getting itchy. Please stop. I hate hearing the word. All right, number 1. Tua got a fox coat that he wore to the Jets game as a birthday gift from Rick Ross.
Yes, Tua was explaining this yesterday. He wore a badass coat to the Jets game.
We got a picture of it?
Yeah, I can get us a picture of it. But here is Tua on the audio that he said he got this from Rick Ross. Here's Tua.
That was cool, huh? I had to cut that jacket, the Black Friday jacket, just because we didn't want it to touch as I was taking it off. We didn't want it to touch my wound, but yeah, we'll definitely be seeing that again. Oh, I'm talking about not the jacket. I'm talking about my jersey. Sorry. I thought that's what you're talking about. Yeah. Jacket. So the jacket, I didn't buy the jacket. The jacket was given to me as a gift on my birthday last year or earlier this year. And shout out to Rick Ross. That was his birthday present to me. Okay. So I appreciate it. Yeah. I feel bad for whatever fox or whatever that thing was.
Whatever that thing was.
Wait. But you know what?
I didn't go out and buy myself that. That's just
Hey, you know his ass ain't say he giving it back though.
Oh, no way.
It's coming back.
I don't know what happened to that fox, but you damn right I'm gonna wear that again.
Oh, definitely, dude. You're not giving Rick Ross back a jacket, dude.
Now he gotta wait. He gotta go stage 2. You know what stage 2 is?
What's that?
Coordinate with the bags.
Yes. Wait, what?
That is true.
Yeah.
Although he's,
gotta
he's
have the
working
matching
it though.
bags.
How much do you think that jacket cost?
Well, isn't that like a Louis Vuitton? It looks like
Yeah,
that, right?
probably like $6 or $7 grand.
Wow.
And then you got to get the matching bags. The matching bags ain't gonna even cost you $1,000, maybe $1,200 for the big one, and the little one gonna hit you up for like $400 or $500. So you gotta come on. I know players that would have the Louis leather suit underneath the jacket with the bags and the hat.
Best dresser that you ever played with?
Who tried to be Jerry Ball. But here's the kicker. He's built like Beast. So
man,
one day he came onto the bus to go to the plane. And he had, back in the 90s, people wear colorful outfits or whatever. He had on a purple suit. So all the way to the airport, all the way to where we were flying, all the way to the hotel, everybody was singing Grape Ape songs. And he's like, I guess I ain't wearing this no more.
Brutal, dude. Anyway, I got the Goosies from Tua getting a Rick Ross Fox jacket.
Goosies!
It's hard not to have Goosies with anything that Tua does because he's very honest and sincere about anything that comes out of his mouth. And you just take him as a real dude. And yeah, happy for him. He got the nice little jacket. Rick Ross trying to up his game a little bit. Now you got to go out and get the matching bags. You just got to do it. You got to do it.
Guardian Apple says that's Mink. Mink's classier than Fox, yeah. Like, what are the things that PETA hates the most?
Minx is just a street walking fox. That's all.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
chinchilla is the highest class, right? That's Frank Lucas. The chinchilla is the hot, is the softest.
Minx is more expensive than chinchilla.
Crazy.
Really?
Pretty wild. What? I don't know fur coats, dude. J-Fit, you got the Goosies from Tua?
I do have the Goosies. I like it. It's certain.
Tobin is the guy that goes.
It's tasteful.
Tobin is the guy that goes up north in the middle of the winter, and the only thing he has is a thick sweatshirt, and I ain't buying a jacket. I'm wearing this sweatshirt.
That's right.
Right? Yeah.
Dan, you got Goosies from Tua and Rick Ross's gift?
Not to be a bummer, but animals, don't eat them, don't wear them.
That would explain a lot.
What? But you eat critters?
No, he used to eat critters.
In a past life.
Past life, yeah.
I tell you what, eating a couple of Nutri-Rats will make you give up meat.
Listen,
like, I don't know what the hell wrong with you.
I do have respect. If you're not going to wear fur, also don't eat fur. So you know what? Dan is he's full.
Don't
He's
eat
not like these PETA frauds.
Hey, you also live in Florida, Dan. You're not going out on the limb.
What else we got, J Fig?
Maybe if they were covered in mayonnaise. I don't know how you say it.
Mayonnaise. Like
mayonnaise. No, how do you say it again?
Mayonnaise. M-Y.
Mayonnaise. That's how he says it. You gotta say
it's not minus. M-A-Y.
-1.
That's how he says it.
You barely know English, like my grandmother. You call it mayonnaise.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of that in Louisiana. People just say what the hell they want. They don't even look at the words. They look at the English language as a mere suggestion of how to communicate.
The other thing is to try to speak Cajun French to an actual like French person, and they look at you like, "Get the hell out of my face."
Oh no! Talk to my wife though; she can understand it because they speak ghetto French up where she from.
That's right. There's a little bit of mingling up there before we got kicked out, but nothing.
What's number 2, J Fig?
JRich saying he thinks Bam is a lock for all NBA team.
Wow. I mean, that is his best friend. So, like, I mean, you're going to support your best friend.
But you know what?
But I like
it also coincides with him being quite accurate.
He is. I
right?
mean,
Because he's dominating everybody.
I was wondering this with Bam. First of all, Goosies.
Goosey.
Second of all, do you know they changed the rules this year for all NBA? It's no longer positional. It's just the top 15 players. They think they're not doing. It used to be guard, forward, center.
Right.
So I don't know. I think that might help Bam because I already know these charlatan bums. They're going to put Jokic and Joel on first, second if it was the old way. But now they may be both on first team. So maybe he's got a crack at that second team because I know he's not going to get first team. They're too cowardice to do that.
If he keeps playing like this, dude, you're going to be hard pressed not to put him on it.
Look, if he and also big year for top 15 because he's extension eligible, which means if you make all NBA, a lot of money, Bobby. So Goosies for JRich, but I think it almost helps him probably that it's not positional anymore. That if he just has the chance to make it as a top 15 player on the first, second. Jimmy always makes the third team. That's like I think he's made it like the last 3.
You know the other changes? They're not doing that pick a team anymore in the All-Star game.
No, they're just going back to conference, right?
Yeah.
I like that. I thought that the team drafting.
Well, because for some reason the NBA thought guys were getting their feelings hurt getting picked last.
They were getting in their feelings. Rudy Gobert got in his feelings every year.
But here's the deal: you're an all-star.
Separation, dude. Everybody gets a trophy. You know how it is. J Fig, do you have the Goosies from JRich proclaiming Bam a lock to make all NBA?
Of course I have the Goosies. Wasn't he also the one that said that Bam needs new hobbies because he's always just playing?
I'm glad that Bam didn't have any hobbies because he looks like a monster.
Oh, he about to get one. He about to get one.
Wait.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. He gonna get one. He gonna shoot some free throws and go play some dominoes when I beat that ass.
Dude, come on, man. Just like let's, maybe we just leave it for the season. I don't know.
I'm telling you. Do y'all want me to break this man's spirits when he's in the best run of his career.
I don't think you're gonna break his. You think you're gonna break his spirits,
dude? Listen, my buddy has a son that's a high school golfer, right? He says, "Oh, he really wants to golf with you. You know, heard you pretty good, and he, you know, he plays these tournaments well." You know what I said to him on the first tee? I say, "What do you normally shoot?" He says, right around 75. Sometimes I get 70, 71, 72. I said, "I can talk you into 80, and then I'm going to beat you down."
Jeez.
You got to be stronger than that. You can't be mentally weak to come in here and mess with Uncle Leroy. What's wrong with you?
Damn, Domino showdown too with Leroy.
No, I can't wait to beat his ass.
That's right. I'm getting some. Look, listen, his confidence ends right there.
Okay.
As he's walking away from the camera?
I don't know, man. Like, did you see him run over Giannis and Bobby Portis the other night? Like,
that's on the basketball court. We talk about dominoes.
Jesus. All right.
Man, imagine Bam beating Leroy.
He's not going to beat me.
Yeah, but what if he does, though?
Well, what if he does? There's always that slight possibility.
And what if, wait.
How would you react to this?
You two frauds.
I'm the what?
And what if I beat his ass?
I don't
This is the
know.
one time I mentioned this
I
hypothetical.
think I favor you because I think life experience seems to matter. So I'm gonna,
I've been playing dominoes since before he was born. Do you understand what that means? In the hood dominoes. That's real dominoes.
Black
Not
belt.
these dominoes with the pretty colors. We talk about dominoes. You have to put the screw in the middle so you ain't split it.
If you were to give it a belt color, what would you give it for your dominoes experience?
Triple black. Like triple black, baby. What was it? Third level black belt?
Third degree, I
Third
believe.
degree black belt? What is he, purple?
Stop.
He should be playing dominoes with Tommy, not with me.
Oh, no, man.
Oh.
Wow.
Hope you don't get choked out. Because Tommy, when you put the outfit on, Tommy think it's go time.
That's true. Dan Day, do you have the Goosies from JRich back at his guy?
I'm not following that. Just give that man his third-degree black belt. Go on ahead.
What? I'm going to sit down like this.
Give us one more, J-Fig, for Goosies, no Goosies.
Dana White says that UFC has a super fight in the works that doesn't involve Conor McGregor.
That's Goosies because I love a good mystery. I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know what the super fight would be.
John Jones coming back?
He's hurt. Like, he's hurt. He's not coming back for like another, I think, 7 months.
Really?
Yeah,
Hurt.
He like tore his pec.
You know what else get you to tell you?
My nose is running.
We got that juicy juice. And we ain't talking about the kids' drink.
I was wondering about this. If he goes super fight, not Connor, I was almost wondering like GSP coming back. Like I didn't know. Super fight.
Mark Zuckerberg?
Oh man, maybe. But I think that Elon Musk has said that he backed out of that fight. And I think I can't believe I know this. I'm pretty sure that Zuckerberg suffered an injury in training. I think he tore his like ACL or something like that.
Keeping your finger on the pulse, man.
He tore his pride. Both of them guys. Listen, go play with your money. Stop playing real folks' games. Because I'm more than sure that if Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are training, they ain't getting hit.
No,
you ain't hitting a multi-billionaire.
Zuckerberg supposedly is the real like he trained with like Stylebender and Volkanovski.
Yeah, but they ain't getting hit. You know, like real sparring.
Supposedly, there's video of him that got wiped from a jiu-jitsu competition of him getting choked out, but it's off the internet. It's like LeBron getting cooked by Jamal Crawford. Like it's just off the internet.
Yeah, choked out, dude.
Goosies from the mystery fight?
No.
Oh.
Not as soon as he mentioned Elon Musk. And
J-Fig, do you have the Goosies from a mystery fight?
I'm all in for a mystery, so I'm going to say Goosies.
All right. I like it too. Scooby-Doo.
Up to this point, our mystery has been At what point is Jay Fig going to show up?
By the way, where is Scooby? I feel like he's been very quiet lately for the home shows.
He's actually right here. Scooby, come.
Dan Day, you have Goosies from the mystery fight?
Nah, not till it's announced. I don't need to worry about that.
We'll take a quick break. Final hour coming on up. Back after this.
Yeah, we had no fear. Way back.
Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Oh, hello, Scooby. Scooby has his sweater on.
Told you he was here. He's been cold these days, so I had to put it on.
Picture because she's like, Scooby's like, she's embarrassing me with this.
She really is embarrassing me right now.
Look at that. He loves this one. This is his favorite one.
Oh my god.
Really?
That poor dog.
Poor dog.
That poor dog. He's like, I have to be part of her fashion shows.
Please. He loves it.
I love it. I love a dog in a sweater.
Man.
He's not. He gets cold.
Really?
Gaffman says
That's what
on
the fur is for.
Gaffman says on Twitch, Tobin, I haven't heard you doing any interviews as the Greek reporter lately. I haven't heard from Christos. Usually Christos will pop in every now and then.
He loves Bam.
He loves Bam. I don't think he has popped in lately. I don't even know if they do a Zoom link anymore. I don't know if they do. So I don't know if he has that. Hello, Bam.
Hello, Bam.
You play. He definitely was watching because it was obviously Greek Freak in the last game. So you think you have best defense against Greek Freak, and also what about defense about Damian Lillard? Thank you. To question.
He does.
I miss that guy, man. He's the best. Best thing about the world shutting down was us getting to meet Christos via Zoom.
Nobody was doing interviews. We were doing interviews with Christos.
Hello, Bam. To question. I have a question. One, how you are so good at basketball? And also, how you get this good at basketball? Man. Let's get to some headlines brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Supercenter. Why buy a truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
Little NFL news from NFL reporter JJ Watt, who has tweeted out trying new things in retirement. So let's steal Adam Schefter's job for a day. Tight end Zach Ertz has requested and been granted his release from the Arizona Cardinals. The three-time Pro Bowler plans to sign with a contender and make a run at another Super Bowl ring.
Ooh, Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz. By the way, Adam Schefter has confirmed this report from
Zach Ertz. Tickles anybody fancy? He at one point he was amongst the elite.
Yeah, I mean, not really.
Playing for a bum ass team will get that though.
Definitely will do that. The only thing I'd say is the Dolphins don't really use the tight end they
don't. Here's what you need to understand. Okay, follow me. You don't use what you don't have. Okay, because Mike McDaniel used Kittles a lot. You don't use, again, you're making my point. You don't use what you don't have.
I don't think he's going to use Ertz. They haven't even used, what's his face? Not Charles Clay.
Smythe?
Claypool. No, I mean, Smythe's good for, a couple 15-yard catches a game. They haven't. Claypool.
I'm like, him and Smythe are damn near the same size.
Yeah, Claypool's a moose.
He's bigger than Mr. Giddy, who's miserable in New England.
The Gesicki?
Mm-hmm. Claypool might be about the same size as,
but he's a wide receiver. I mean, he's not a tight end.
No, he's not. He's not. Neither was Gesicki.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So you have that. From Dolphins practice, according to reporters, they have not seen Javon Holland or Kendall Lamb in the media viewing portion of practice. Teron Armstead is at practice, and Tyreek Hill also at practice. They both were missing yesterday. So
could have been a vet day.
Could have been a vet day.
You get vet days.
Teron Armstead did say, because you remember he sat out the end of that game. Mike McDaniel said this week that, well, if it was a one-score game, maybe he could have played. Teron Armstead said that he could have. He's planning to play this weekend on Twitter. He said that.
Well,
so, do with that.
And can I just say, as good as this team is, I hate going into games like this. Like, so-and-so might play. He could have gone back. and I know we're going to deal with this all year with Teron Armstead, right? So, and that worries me, even though I would say one of the biggest improvements on this team collectively has been that offensive line.
Yeah.
Now, Tua's helped with that a little bit, but we've been very surprised at their run blocking, their pass protecting. That offense looks a lot better when they're doing, when they're able to hold up their end.
Let's hear a little bit from Tua. Now, Tua had a really gross cut on his arm.
Oh, did you see that? It
Yes.
almost looked like he had one of those tattoo shirts and somebody tore a hole in it.
Oh, it was gross.
That's how bad it looked.
Yeah, it was really, really gross.
Too deep. Wait, it was too deep to bleed.
He said Mrs. Tagovailoa was grossed out by her husband's arm.
Tua, how's the arm healing up?
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, I was told by my wife that like she didn't see it, but then she got text messages from people about what it looked like, and they said it was disgusting while they were eating their leftover meals. Sorry, I couldn't help you there. Like, I didn't know it happened until I came to the sideline, and then Mike White sort of pointed it out. I guess it was just from the adrenaline, but it was a nice chunk that came off. So someone can find that piece. That's yours.
Oh, you needed stitches?
Yeah, I got stitches. Yeah, it was, I think, like the way it looked as they were stitching it, it looked very complex for them to like put it back together. But I mean, it looks really good.
Oh, that's gross, dude.
Just imagine finding that.
Finding a chunk of Tua.
Dude, though, when you do it, something just doesn't feel right. Like when I rip my lip, I could feel air on the bottom of my teeth, and I'm like, hey, I said, hey guys, and everybody was staring at me, so I knew something was up. And then I was like, where's my lip? And they're like,
where's my lip?
It's hanging, dude. So, but I went and got the Rambo stitches, and I kept playing. I didn't even miss a series. I played that series when the defense was on the field, ran and got some Rambos, came back out.
Good God. That's disgusting.
You know what the Rambo stitches are, right?
What?
When they take that big sickle, when he stitched himself, yeah, they take that big sickle and they just hook it up.
Here's more of Tua. He said that he's gonna tell his son one day that he was a hero. That's how he got the injury.
You know how many stitches?
It was a long time. I was like laying down, so I don't know.
Do you know if you're gonna have to get that retouched in the skin of your tattoo?
Well, I think it'll be a great story for Ace when he grows up. I saved 3 people in the ocean, and I got bit by a shark. I mean, 500-pound shark. I killed it. Yeah, no, yeah. That's how fast I was in the water.
Hey, so he gonna have a Papa Fig story.
He's gonna tell his
Pretty
kid some
much.
Whoppers. He's gonna be telling his kid some Whoppers.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
At least.
Wait a minute. Says the guy who has a son
Yeah.
that already calls BS on you.
Sometimes, but he's seen me catch the iguanas before. He knows. He was trying to catch him the other day. We were at the park. He goes, "How much you give me to catch that iguana?"
Oh, here we go.
And I was like, "That's $10 if you get it." But I had to back him off because it was 2 iguanas on top of each other. They were having some iguana love making. I didn't want him to get involved in that because I figured, although it's probably good for our environment to pull them apart, I didn't want him to deal with an
Get
extra.
attacked by 2 iguanas?
I didn't want him to get attacked by an extra horny iguana. So I was worried about that. I told him to back
That's
off.
not gonna go on the thing. Young boy was attacked by a horny iguana.
That's a nice
Take a
headline.
quick break. We got to do our pick draft coming up next. Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you. It is time to make our picks. We have to make our picks for the week. I am going to be out tomorrow. Not sure what the situation is for next week, but I will be out tomorrow. And so we do have to get to our picks. We had John Crotty early in the show. If you guys missed him, breaking down all things Heat, big matchup tonight against the Indiana Pacers. We got Crotty coming on up for you here in just a bit, but let us get to our pick draft, and it is
What's the order?
It is week 13 of the NFL season. We go in reverse order. Records of last week, of the last month, Leroy, went you in first place, barely. J Fig, then
barely?
Marcos, barely was by a half game.
By one.
Half game.
I'm first place.
Okay, that's fine. But
Wasn't I after Leroy?
That's why. Yes, you were. And then it was Frog Boy, and then I was last. So I got to throw out the dartboard of doom probably next week. Leroy, you'll pick last. I will pick first. I'm going to go with, you know it, the Miami Dolphins minus 9.5 on the road against the Commanders. That's who I'm going with, dude. Dan, you were going to be picking for Frog Boy today because Marcos is out. I tried to send the bad signal up to him a little too late. Haven't heard back. So Dan Day is here to pick. Fully capable of picking for Marcos. So what do you got, Dan Day? Who are you going with in this week 13 of the NFL slate? Your first pick.
Ooh, man, I got a little bit of pressure, although I'm not really going to have to reap any of the repercussions.
That's true. You have it's pressure free for you.
Yeah, so I was looking around, seeing everything that's going on. I think I am going to take the Cardinals and the Steelers. Cardinals, I think that they will cover that 5.5. They might not win, but they'll be within that 5.5. So let's go Cardinals.
Cardinals plus 5.5. A bold pick for the road team.
Yeah,
I like it. Okay. J Fig, what is your pick?
Okay, so you picked Cardinals, right?
He picked the Cardinals. The Dolphins are off the board.
Let's see. Okay, so sorry if you hear screaming. Have some family over. Okay.
A lot of screaming going on.
A lot of yelling going on. Are they telling you to pick the Jets?
Hell no, they're not. I don't know.
Come on. Okay. You got a whole slate here, J Fig.
I'm sorry. I need to get this moving. Okay. You know what? I'll take the Browns.
Wow. Oh, wow. Really? Okay.
Sure.
Cleveland is a
3.5 point dog.
3.5 point dog on the road. And they may
Joe
have
Flacco.
They might have Joe Flacco starting and J Fig. All right, there you go. Leroy, what is your first pick?
I will take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers minus 5 over the Panthers.
No coach smell. You don't believe in it?
No, we still got the old player smell on that team.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. All right. I am going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. Home dog. I know that they've been playing, skin of their teeth, really close, but
that's how they live.
They don't lose. And, I don't got a hook there. So I'm going to go Eagles plus 3, hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Kind of feels like they're due to lose kind of game. I think that's what Vegas is doing. They don't seem to lose if Jalen Hurts plays. So I'm going to go Philadelphia plus the 3. And that is my second pick. Dan, what is your second pick?
Colts favored by 1 in Nashville against a terrible Titans team. Colts trying to play for the playoffs. I like the Colts in this situation for Marcos.
All right. Marcos via Dan Day is taking the Colts on the road. Still a winning record, even with their crazy ass owner, Jim Irsay, who, he needs to put the Twitter thumbs away.
Well, yeah, he's been stereotyped for being rich.
For being a rich. Yeah. Did you know, Leroy, do you feel bad for Jim Irsay? He in his life, he has said, I am being stereotyped for being a white billionaire. And
no, you're not.
I never thought about it like
you're
that.
being stereotyped for being a kook.
They're on drugs.
Right. Like I love the way people want to write the narrative of why people think the way they think of them.
Yep. J Fig, your second pick.
You were saying for me to pick the Jets, right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I'm gonna pick the Falcons.
Ooh, all right. The Falcons 2.5-point road favorites against the New York Jets, whose most dangerous defender is that trashy turf. You never know who's gonna claim next. So the Falcons 2.5-point favorites in New Jersey this weekend. Leroy, your second pick.
You know what sucks is that all of the teams that are favored are on the road.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird thing. But I'm gonna take the Chargers. Minus 5.5 against the McCorkles.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it might be the Bailey Zappies this week, and maybe who knows?
You can put them both out there.
They put them both.
Put them both out there.
Have Gesicki out there running the Wildcat. Oh man! All right, where do we go next? All right, we got Jacksonville. I just don't trust them as that big a favorite. I'm not gonna go with them. Kansas City prime time, but it's a cold game at Lambeau. You know who I'm rocking with? I think that this Broncos little run ski is going to end here. I'm going with CJ Stroud at home. I like him covering 3.5. I think that they smoked the Broncos this weekend. I'm going with Houston winning by a couple scores over Denver. So give me the Houston Texans as my final pick of the week. Dan Day, what's your last game?
I'm going to go with my Saints right now because they're taking on the Lions. Caesars Superdome. They were so inept. They moved the ball every single series against the Falcons, but they just kicked field goals. I think at home against the Lions, Dan Campbell, tick, tick, tick. The clock is ticking. 4.5 points at home in the dome with a bunch of drunk Cajuns. I got the Saints in this situation.
All right, there we go. J-Fig, your final game of the week.
Try my best not to pick teams that I'm constantly going with.
Why not? Ride the wave.
Fine, you know what? Kansas City Chiefs. There we go.
She's going with the fighting Tay-Tays.
The fighting Tay-Tays.
All right. Kansas City is a 6-point favorite at Lambeau Field. Like Leroy said, a lot of big road favorites this week.
Yeah, there's not a...
But not this one. I'm taking the Cowboys.
Tonight, the Cowboys are hosting the Seahawks, and he's laying the 9 points.
Thursday night, decent travel. Cowboys are hot.
They both have had full weeks because they both played on Thanksgiving.
So
Cowboys 5-0 at home this season.
Yep.
I don't care about the 5-0. I care about the 5-0 plus 9.
All right, there you go. Those picks are in the books as we have week 1 of December's pick draft picked for us. So there you go. I feel confident. I think the Dolphins are going to smoke the Commanders this week, dude. I really do.
I do, but here's what sports has done for me. Because I've been on both sides of it, I feel bad when I'm overconfident about something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because sports just takes you for that ride. Mm-hmm. So that's why I said I'm uncomfortable about this game, because I have an idea of what should happen. The Commanders have no business winning this game. However, they're NFL players too. So
I get it. Like, you don't want to feel like you're disrespecting anybody.
It's not that. It's that, like, if you make enough mistakes and give a team hope, any team could be any team in the NFL, right? And I think a lot of people don't understand that, you know what? You may have the highest paid lineman on your team. They got one probably making 20, 30 million too, right? Like, so it's not like this college disparage between the upper echelon players and the scrubs. No, everybody's got big time players on their team.
Yeah, it's just, I think that first of all, their quarterback's getting the snot kicked out of him. He turns the ball.
Goodness. Isn't he like leading the league in passing?
Yeah, he throws up a lot of yards. But they're bottom third in the league in points. Like,
you know what that means?
Dolphins average 10 more points a game.
I'm telling you right now. Over under Christian Wilkins sacks 1.5. I'm going over.
I'm going over. Yeah, the guy's he's been a monster. And he just, like this week he called Jeff Wilson a psycho, and I'm like, no, you're a psycho. Like, what do you mean?
You on video pancaking Breece Hall 35 yards down the field.
Sitting here just like demanding your friend Zach Sealer plays you in rocks, paper, scissors again. Like, no, I don't accept this. And he just shouts, football, just all over the place. Like, no, he's a football psycho.
Oh my God, I just watched a video of white folks doing white folk stuff. This guy tried to jump off the house onto the trampoline and then into the pool.
Huh.
So, he went at it.
It's honestly one of my big fears. Like I've already had the talk with my son. I'm like, listen, you're not allowed to jump off the roof into the pool.
Because that's what you would do.
That's it.
A lot of my cousins have done that.
Did Dee then turn around and look at you?
He's had this, ever since I let him help me hang Christmas lights last year, he's had this obsession with going on the roof. And I'm like, no, this isn't like a normal thing. You don't get to keep going on the roof.
Oh, he likes going on the roof.
He likes going on the roof. And so I got to prevent this from being a thing.
Oh, man. So he's to that age where you got to keep an eye on him at all times.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, dude. That is right. Okay. All right, everybody. We appreciate it. We will take a quick break. When we come back, John Crotty.
Crotty!
Point guard, John Crotty. We talk a little Heat tonight. They take on the Pacers. We talk all things Miami Heat, Bam Adebayo, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Spo, with the great John Crotty, your television analyst from Bally Sports Sun. That is, of course, where you can watch the game tonight. And you can listen to it here on 560 WQAM. Our coverage beginning at 6:15. Back with the point guard, John Crotty, right after this.